Live at WJOB 1230. Also on the TuneIn app at WJOB 1230. You can also follow our stuff at WJOB1230.com. I don't know what to say, people across the country. You region rats that come back to your homeland in times of need and trouble and curiosity and confusion. Here we are, talking to you from the great state of Indiana along Indianapolis Boulevard from the Strachan Van Til studios. The impossible has happened. The Cubs won the World Series. That's the most impossible thing that has ever happened in my or your lifetime. And Donald Trump will become the 45th president of the United States of America. What's going on? You want me to make some sense of what's happening here? California. I think we'll be taking a trip back to the homeland soon. I'll be heading back to Berkeley. As a matter of fact, I don't know, just from all the time I lived there, I already thought weed was legal, but evidently it wasn't. Oh my gosh, what in Sam Hill happened last night? Does anybody know? I just think that the only people that can make any sense of it are the Grateful Dead. You know what I mean? And the kind of confusion we got is that I got a wife in Chino, babe, one in Cherokee. First one says she's got my child, but it don't look like me. I set out running, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, I just might get some sleep tonight. Got 2 reasons why I cry away each lonely night. The first one's named Sweet Anne Marie, and she's my heart's delight. The second one is prison. Sheriff's on my tail. Ryan is interrupting me. What's up, Ryan? Who is? Putin. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to start, but we're going to do this today. Ryan has not scheduled any guests today because we want to know what you guys think. What's happening? I don't even know what to tell you. I got to tell you traffic because there ain't any. Everybody's sitting at home stunned. There ain't no traffic today. That's brought to you by Laborers Local 41, spoken in the local vernacular. And what about weather? That is brought to you by our good friends at ArcelorMittal, proudly employing 10,000 hardworking men and women in the region. It's 47 degrees here in Hammond, Indiana, right here at the Strachan Van Til Studios. It's 47 in Highland. It's 47 in Scarerville. And we got stuff all over the map. We got local races that are crazy. We got state races that are crazy. And we have national. The astounding victory by a brash billionaire. He has upset the apple cart. There's a new sheriff in town. And I want to hear from you guys. Ryan, can you hand me my purple notebook over there? It's a purple notebook kind of day. I think we're going to go in order of the people that have called in. So let's start right now with B.O.B. B.O.B., how are you today?
I am doing very well, Jim. I'm doing very well. I was a little stunned. I got to admit that it was as decisive as it was of a victory for Mr.
What'd you hang up on me?
Down the line.
There you
Hello?
are. All right, we got you back. You're stunned on the margin of victory.
Yeah, not so much that he won, but just that it was that decisive. You look at Evan By. See you later, Evan. John Gregg, not interested. Here in Indiana, as I understand it, the Republicans retain their supermajority in the State House. If I can make a suggestion to Matt Reardon, buy Mara some fuzzy slippers and a robe, because she can do her job from the kitchen table and a speakerphone. She doesn't even need to drive down.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they maintain the supermajority, as I understand it, as I read this morning. Maybe that's incorrect, but
No, that's what I'm hearing also. You know, that it almost makes the Democrats.
Glenda Ritz. Everybody loves Glenda Ritz. Not.
What happened, Bob? I don't get it.
Jim, honestly, I'm out amongst the masses, the great unwashed, the deplorables. It's not good out here, Jim. It's not good. I go to businesses that I work in a lot in the south and west sides of Chicago, Jim, and this didn't just happen in the last year. But if you go down 47th Street in Chicago and look at what used to be there 15 years ago and what ain't there anymore, Jim, that's what's happened. And it's the best way I could describe it, and I know it doesn't make much sense to you, Jim, but when you actually see where people used to work and they don't work there no more, I'll do a little region speak there. That's what happened, Jim. And people are tired of it. I don't know whether Donald Trump is going to change that, but it's got nothing to do with Hillary Clinton being a woman. I heard Burley yesterday. Some men are intimidated by a strong woman. No, Burley, it made my skin crawl to listen to her. She may know who's canoodling with who in Lake County politics, but she really don't have a clue what's going on in the world. And I think the reason this is happening is because people are sick and tired of politicians telling them they're going to fix everything and at the same time making it worse. I have nothing but the greatest of hopes for Mr. Trump. I think we actually have somebody in there who has made the first step, realizes that there's a lot of things going wrong in this country. And that's like an alcoholic. You got to admit you got a problem before you can do anything about it. And I think we might have taken the first step.
Bob, tell me about your hope.
My hope is that people get some hope back, honestly. People are just showing up every day and just praying to God it's there at the end of the week. People see their kids going to college, which was supposed to be your ticket was stamped at that point. You're onto a career, and they're living in their mom and dad's basements. I'm hoping that people actually get hope back. People actually start feeling good about this country again. People actually see a future for their children. And I don't think that the government can give it to you. The government can only just create an environment where it's allowed to happen. And it'll take care of itself. It really will. I really, for the first time in quite a long time, actually have hope for this country. So many people are just turning their heads to what's going wrong in this country. I'll just get very, very quickly. I know you got a million calls. Obamacare. People, how much did it get covered, Jimmy? In all seriousness, how the rates have just skyrocketed for that fiasco. The bills come and due for this stuff, people. We need mature people in there. And I know you're going to people are laughing. Donald Trump, mature? Well, maybe he's not the best, but I trust him to put people around him that will make decisions. And I have to ask you this, Jim. I don't know the guy, and I don't know if you know him personally, but has anybody done a wellness check on Roger?
All right, man. Right there. Good question. All right, that's a good question.
Holding each other.
Let's find out if hopefully Roger calls in this morning so we don't have to send out a wellness check. Hey, Bob, thanks for being so candid. I appreciate it.
Hey, you have a good one.
Hey, talk to you. 219-845-1100. She was just called clueless and given rather direct criticisms, but she's also on line 3, and that is Verley Suggs. Hi, Verley.
Good morning, Jim. This is Verley, clueless in Lake County. And just so you know, Bob, I was already on hold when you made your call, so you don't have to worry. I didn't call in just behind you. I just basically called to say that I accept the results of the election and congratulations to Donald Trump and his supporters. It just shows the world that we live in today, and I'm not going to be critical because people have spoken, and so he will be the next president.
Verley, we got to go back to your original comments when it first came out that Donald Trump is gaining in the Republican primary. You said you no longer have to. What was it? You don't something about don't have to put wear a white hood. You could just put a Donald Trump sign in your yard.
You no longer have to put a Confederate flag in
There
your
it is.
yard or burn a cross. Just put a Donald Trump sign in your yard. And that's basically proven its way. I'm not saying that as I said before, I'm not saying all Trump supporters are bigoted or racist. Bob just proved that. But there are a great number that are. He ran on division, and he won. So all it does is prove my point. Everyone came out of the closet today, and it wasn't the LGBT community.
What do you mean everyone came out of the closet? And what does that mean going forward?
It means that there's a lot of healing that's going to have to take place in this country. I don't know that he's the one to do it, but I'm hopeful that he is because he will be our president for the next 4 years. And speaking of Berkeley, just so you know, they're already protesting in Berkeley.
I'm just kind of wondering what that's going to do to the city of Berkeley on legalizing marijuana. I got to back you up here, Verley. There's a lot of talk that you're just referring to it that basically racism is coming out of the closet. As a black woman, how do you feel about that?
Well, you knew it always existed. Luckily, I grew up in a community where I was pretty much shielded from it. I got my wake-up calls, I guess, when I moved to Northwest Indiana and saw it firsthand. You know, it is what it is. It's been there for generations, and I don't see it leaving. I don't see it changing. People will believe what they believe. Their biases will come out, and it's just something that we have to face and accept.
What does that mean, though, for minorities going forward?
Well, it means that there'll be more Trayvon Martins, there'll be more Laquan, there'll be more Rices, there'll be more individuals that, because of the color of their skin, will be in fear of law enforcement and others with stand your ground and some of the other things that have happened to black men and women and brown men and women and minorities, period, as a result of their race. You can see a white man kill a whole family and run from the police, and they will just kindly chase after him and handcuff him and bring him in. Or if he's under 18 or 18, they'll go and stop at Burger King and buy him a sandwich before they go to the lockup. So there is a lot of differences between how certain races are treated, and just is the way it is. And as a black woman, I have to accept it and know that everyone doesn't feel that way. I know that for a fact. I was just nominated and elected to be the president of a council where I'm the only minority. The majority of them are Republican. Most of them are men, and they still made me their president. So it's not everyone that feels that way. And so I just know that, and I'm not going to be looking over my shoulder or looking to my side, left or right, to feel that, that person might have a bias against me. It's just the world we live in, and you just have to live your life and not worry about it.
Verley Suggs, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Talk to you. Let's go to Charlie. Charlie on line 4. Charlie, go ahead and say it.
Well, hi, Jed. We got a new president, Donald Trump, and we got a new governor. And how do you feel about it?
I'm not that surprised.
And I know, and I think the road's gonna be okay.
You think the world's going to be okay?
Yes.
Charlie, you've been calling that for 2 years now, saying that Donald Trump is going to be president. You said it long before anybody else even thought about it. How were you so How did you figure that out so early on?
Well, I don't know. It came to my thought. It came to me. I don't know. I just figured it. I just figured it out.
Well, way to go, Charlie. You really predicted the future on this long before anybody else, and I got to give.
And there was a professor. There was a professor on TV. He predicted it too.
That was a long time ago, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel today, Charlie, that Donald Trump will be our 45th president of the United States?
That's good. The words. It needs straightening it out.
The world needs to be straightened out, huh?
Yeah, and Washington D.C. don't need no politician, and we don't need no politician to run Washington D.C.
There it is, Charlie. Hey, buddy, good hearing from you. I thought you'd be a little happier this morning, but maybe you're just tired from the long trek through the campaign.
Oh, yes. Was you watching it through the TV?
You know what, Charlie? I went to bed about 8 o'clock, like I normally do, because I wake up at 3. But my wife was keeping tabs on it and left me notes and stuff. So
how's the new radio station?
It's going great, Charlie. And part of it is people like you that listen and call in.
So when you going to start your new radio station?
Well, the other one is going to be a music station, but we're a little bit a ways from that. All right, Charlie, good hearing from you, buddy.
Okay.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you. See ya. Wow, Charlie gets his way, and Alex does not. Alex, how are you?
Oh, I got my way.
Explain.
I voted for neither. I wrote Bernie's name in. The only thing that's hard to handle right now is that he gets to pick the next Supreme Court justice.
Is that the only thing, Alex? Come on. We've always been pretty open with each other. That's not the only thing that's got your goat right now.
What do you think that I should be worried about right now?
I think that might be the main thing you're worried about, but I think that you're worried about a lot of things that you've addressed over the years, the plight of unions.
Okay. I don't see how she would have been the savior to the working people. I mean, she's a bankster. I just feel like the only good thing that came out of this right now is the DNC just got a slap in the face and they're awake because a lot of people crossed the aisle and voted for Trump.
What else does this say?
I'm not sure. This doesn't really say anything about Trump either, because the guy won the presidency with no substance on policy. It was more of a, trust me, I'm the best, we'll be the best. That's really all it was. He really didn't lay out any plans. I mean, I talk to people all the time, and most of them are just talking about the wall. Nobody really knows him as the businessman that's anti-labor.
Hey,
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Hey, can I give you one of by the way, thanks to Comcast once again for putting us off the air for about 45 seconds. We appreciate that. Everybody send Comcast a real nice thank you for doing that. But we're on the air now. So here's the deal. Here's one guy said, he says, let's see, where's he says, hey, Jed, I'm a welder. Can you get me a job working on the wall? I thought that was pretty good. Here's another one. Hey, hold on a second. Yeah, you got to like this.
Okay.
Trump, my new president. Where do I go to sign up for that factory job that's coming back from China? People are good.
I want to be the guy that runs his pie factory here in Indiana. How about that?
All right.
Start making them out here.
You got a joke for us on the way out?
No, this is going to be a sad day for talk radio.
Why?
There's no jokes today. I mean, what do you really say? You got Trump wins. and nobody can tell you why other than the leaners came out and vote. You know what a leaner is?
What's that?
Those are the guys that don't want anybody else to hear them, and they lean into you and go, I'm voting for Trump. And then it's just that awkward stare at each other like, I saw a guy last night say it. Oh, I voted for Trump. And the other guy just sat there and went, really? And they just stared at each other, and they've been friends for years.
Hey, what about Verley's comparison that vote for Trump is like putting a Confederate flag in your front yard?
I've said it. I agree 100% because I've said it before. Donald Trump talked like the voter. He never talked like the politician. Republican politicians never slapped the hand of the voter that talked just like Trump did. The voter finally saw somebody that spoke like them. So it ignited that piece of America that still lives in the 40s, as if it's the 40s.
Hey, man. Hey, good hearing you call. All right, man. Hey, well, you sound kind of sad, but I hope you have a better day than you're having right now.
Hey, I'm going to have 4 years of, hey, don't blame me, I voted for Bernie.
All right.
That's just going to be, I'm not talking about it.
I'll see you later. Talk to you. Hey, Walt, hang on, guys, because we got to hit some spots here. All right, before we do that, though, I got to tell you guys something, okay? Because I got a wife in Chino, babe, and one in Cherokee. First one says she's got my child, but it don't look like me. Set out running, but I take my time. A friend of the devil is a friend of mine. Be right back, guys. First, we got to find Nicole. Hey, Nicole! Has anybody seen Nicole? Nicole! Nicole!
If you've been arrested or convicted of a crime in the state of Indiana, listen up. You need legal counsel. Doesn't it make sense to call an attorney who not only knows the law, but who knows the system? I'm Nicole Bennett, a former deputy Lake County prosecutor. I do know the system and how to help you with your criminal case. From traffic tickets to cleaning up your driving record to obtaining specialized driving privileges under the new 2015 Indiana law and misdemeanor and felony charges. And as many of you have experienced, I can even have your criminal record erased. Call me at Westland and Bennett in Cherville, 219-440-7550. Again, 219-440-7550.
Injured in an accident that was not your fault? Get Gladish. Not only does he have over 20 years of experience, but Attorney Gladish is also a board-certified civil trial specialist by the National Board of Trial Advocacy, a member of both the Best Lawyers in America and Indiana Super Lawyers, and has achieved the highest possible peer review rating of AV by Martindale-Hubbell. Let Attorney Gladish, along with his attorneys and staff, deal with the insurance company and its attorneys while you are putting your life back together. Call for a free consultation, 219-838-1900, or visit thegladishlaw.com. Attorney Gladish's office is located at 3235 45th Street in Highland, Indiana. Remember, injured? Get Gladish. Experience, ratings, and certifications count.
What more can we say about Unlimited Service Auto? Located at Ridge Road and Burnham Avenue in downtown Lansing for 32 years. How did we last that long? Honesty, integrity, reliability. At Unlimited Service Auto, we are striving to be your go-to repair center, and we use our impeccable reputation as our standard. Why go to a repair center where the guessing costs more than legitimate repairs? Call 708-895-9520 and get it right the first time.
I'm Big George, your car guy, and I approve this message.
Bootleg Liquors has the very best selection of beer, wine, and hard alcohol at the lowest prices around the region. Bootleg Liquors now has a new location to better serve you, and that's at 1955 45th Street in Griffith. That's along with their original location, of course, that's at 803 Ridge Road in Griffith. Our service and prices can't be beat, so stock up now at Bootleg Liquors.
This is Mayor Joe Stahura, and you're listening to WJOB 1230 AM and 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana.
My My baby does the hanky-panky.
Mayor McDermott of Hammond, is there a recent history in Lake County of hanky-panky, Mayor McDermott?
It looks improper.
Mayor, you want to respond to that?
There is no hanky-panky going on here in Lake County, Indiana.
This is ridiculous.
Well, first of all,
This is ridiculous.
well, I think I've explained it 4 or 5 times here, and
This is ridiculous.
Try one more time to explain to me and to a lot of our viewers who simply don't understand why it took 4 or 5 hours to at least bring some of these votes up to speed.
we're not going to disenfranchise anybody.
This is ridiculous.
When do you think we will get the rest of the vote in Lake County?
I don't know.
They're counting them as we speak, Republicans and Democrats.
This is ridiculous.
Oh, help me! Help me! Help me! Somebody help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
Do you understand, Mayor, why it's taking so long?
This is ridiculous.
When the votes are counted, everybody in the world will know.
Oh, good.
This is ridiculous.
They're counting them as we speak.
What I'm saying is, this is a computer. I mean, how easy is it to turn over a computer so that the media and everybody knows what's going on?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, get in there, talk about www.w.com, you got them naked chicks on there, man, you go click, 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 it's real easy, man.
That's what we're doing, counting them up.
But it's a computer. This is ridiculous. But it's a computer. I'll be honest with you. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Calm down, diddly, 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 diddly. They did their best, shoddily, diddly, diddly, diddly. Gotta be nice, hostility, diddly, diddly, diddly. Ah, hell, diddly, ding, dong, crap. Can't you morons do anything right?
What's the matter with this thing now? This is ridiculous.
That doesn't get old, man. That doesn't get old. I'll tell you what, Lake County shines and when it's time to shine, you know what I mean? Hey, it's 6:08 in the Calumet region here in Hammond, Indiana, where I'm sitting at the Strachan Van Til Studios on the campus of the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Center. I just went and took my workout pants off and put some jeans on, some nice jeans, Eddie Bauer jeans, and some Timberland boots, and I'm ready to go at it today in a business-like fashion with you guys, but I just want to tell you that I got a wife in Chino, baby, one in Cherokee. Pot's legal in Berkeley now, and all that time I thought it already was. What is that? Anyways, that's 47 degrees right now in Calumet region, and 47 in Hammond, 47 in Highland, 47 in Scaryville, 47 in Corn Point, and 52 in East Chicago, Indiana. Fred Flintstone's on his way in. He's in his Flintmobile right now. He's coming in. Freddie Yabba Dabba Doo's on his way in. That is our own good friend Andy Quinnell. All right, what do we have in terms of the weather? It's brought to you by Labor's Local 41, of which I am a proud alum. And you unions that support us, I very much appreciate it. You guys have allowed us to do a lot of stuff, and that's like buy a new radio station, move into these studios. You unions that don't support us, shame on you. How's that sound? But the Labor's Local 41, Ironworkers Local 395, Teamsters Local 142, and Electricians Local 697, along with the electrical contractors as part of NECA. So thanks a lot. There's a lot of that going on. During the campaign run, we had to run a ton of political commercials. I want to thank every one of the candidates, win or lose, that supported the station and brought your campaign dollars here. There were a lot of them. Some of you are tired of hearing the spots, and I get it. Well, spots no more. At least political spots. Now we got tons of local businesses and so forth. That's how a radio station comes together and a media group comes together that's locally owned and locally produced. And we're so excited to be part of that and that you have supported us. All right, now, speaking of that, how about a 5-day forecast after that? All that malarkey. High of 57 today, partly sunny and pleasant. And then tomorrow, sunny and breezy and a high of 62. And then Friday, a high of only 51. And partly sunny, and then same thing on Saturday, and then Sunday, a high of 55, mostly sunny and breezy, so 2 really nice days, kind of warm. It's really not that bad out right now. It's 45 degrees here. All right, what do you got in terms of traffic? Brought to you by our good friends at Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Visit them right off 94 and Torrance Avenue in Lansing, or online at riveroakshonda.com. It's 294 around the city, looks pretty good. 80 going across looks all right, too. Bishop Ford up the good of the Southland is actually a little bit tight from 115th to 103rd. And then the Randai and the Wyskay and the Roll Toad, the Borman Academy Expressway, and the I-65 and Glen Avenue are all moving along pretty well. I'd like to hear from you guys today at 219-845-1100. What do you think about all that has happened? The markets were down over 600 points when I looked at them on the Dow. Now they're down less than about half of what their biggest downdraft was, at about 350 points down. Oil, what about oil? Oil is really unchanged on the evening. So 219-845-1100, you can call or text to that. Got a lot of texts coming in today, and I got to get to them. But before we do any of that, Ryan, what were you going to say? You want me to turn your microphone on? Fred Flintstone on his way in?
Yes, he's at the door right now.
He's at the door.
Hey, I know.
Yabba-dabba-doo! Yabba-dabba-doo!
It's a pretty popular Twitter account here in the area, and made popular by our very own Hammond Mayor, Tom McDermott Jr. Region Rants. They are fed up. Their account is done. The Cubs won the World Series. Donald Trump is the president. They are done. I mean, they've got tens of thousands of listeners and followers from us, and they have decided they're done.
There's a group of them. As far as I understood it, it was a group, and quite frankly, maybe I know
they were funny.
I think I know who they are. So why don't we get them to get involved and do something for the radio station? Maybe we do a Region Rants show, a podcast. Come on, guys. And I think it's mostly guys. Now's the time. We just set up our own podcasting ability. We call it JEDcast Radio. I just let it slip. And we could have Region Rants on that. But yabba-dabba-doo! All right, guys. We did that. We did the markets. And, Jed, can you play Trump's acceptance speech? I already did. I played it at about 5:20. And I'm not playing it again. It's something you get on.
You should play it almost every hour on the hour.
Got it. He changed his tune, by the way. All right, I got some texts I want to get to, by the way. 5:58, you're off the air, courtesy of Comcast. Thank you, Comcast. And one will get yours for not providing as good a service, in my opinion, in the older industrial, poorer areas of Hammond that you do in the newer areas like Winfield or South Crown Point. I know that's probably acceptable legally, but morally it's just egregious in my mind. But anyways, sad day in America for another text. What's the difference between white racism and black entitlement? That is according to all opinion of Verley there. Good morning, Moo and Hee-Haw. Charlie was right from the beginning, said Cindy. Hopefully the listeners will start listening to Charlie. Woo! What's your thoughts, Jed, on this trap in the market? I don't know what it is, man. Only took Trump about 25 minutes to set off a global market crash. That's another one. Charlie called it, so get over it. Jed, please stop singing or I'm turning the dial. These are all texts, and many of you, thank you so much. What did you do with the money your parents gave you for singing lessons? Here, I'll show you what I did. What did you do with the money your parents gave you for singing lessons? And I'm a welder. Can you get me a job working on the wall, Donald? All right, there it is. Andy Quinnell, how excited are you this morning?
Oh, extremely. Tired, but extremely excited.
Come on, give us a yabba-dabba-doo.
Maybe when I leave. Because I got to tell you, even though I love the Dead, you singing first thing in the morning is a tough thing to take.
Got a wife in Chino, baby.
And one in Cherokee.
First one says...
She's got my child.
But it don't look like me, man. But it don't look like me, man. They're like, Cheech. Hey, man, but it don't look like me, man. Hey, it's not just Trump. It is Eric Holcomb soundly defeating Gregg. Nobody saw that. Come on, not even your polls.
If you would have come down on Saturday,
when you didn't invite me, I
invited you Monday before. I think I was sitting here. Maybe it was the Monday.
Oh yeah,
before
what? Like an offhanded? Hey, why don't you come Saturday and blah blah blah.
Billy
blah.
Baker was going to come, but he met me afterwards for drinks.
That's his forte.
Yeah.
But I was a little bit mad. I'm like, on Saturday, I'm going to go follow the candidates on Saturday. Yeah. Alexis had to work.
I think we had probably 5 times the amount of people that were at Wicker Park, if not more.
Did you watch my video?
Yeah, there was like 30 people there.
No, there was like 100.
Oh, there was not 100.
But there were some people in the back that didn't make the video.
Oh, okay.
But I would have come to Holcomb, too, but I was really upset.
And it was at Niemeyer's barn, not his farm. There's a difference. The barn is where he holds the auctions. That's where we always have this rally every year, which is on the corner of 41 and 2.
Yeah.
He lives like further down west on 2 down the way his little farm. So
Holcomb wins. Glenda Ritz loses too.
Yep.
I don't even know who.
Jennifer McCormick.
Nobody knew her name.
I had her on the radio here.
Doesn't mean nobody listens to WJOB.
Well, nobody listens to you. I had a guy yesterday in Lake Station say, after I introduced myself to him, who was outside as I was performing my deputy election commissioner duties, go, hey, I hear you on the radio.
Did he go, yeah, you do look like Fred Flintstone?
No, he said, you do have a face for radio. He said, you think mine looks bad, you should see Jim's.
Hey, let's take some phone calls, huh? 219-845-1100. We want to know how you guys are taking it today. What do you think? Locally. Mara beat fine. What is that about? Hold on a second. I got to ask it in this way. How in the hell, with this Republican landslide everywhere, did Mara beat Bill Fine?
That I think was more of a local issue involving the schools. And the people that made that vote are going to find out what a mistake they made because, in the 8 years she was in office, she never passed any legislation. Our school funding went down. She's part of a super minority, in the House. She's not going to get anything done. She has no voice. We literally lost our voice in the 12th district because, they're not going to listen to her down there.
Hal Slager won.
Michael Aylesworth won.
Hal Slager's a Republican. He beat
Tom
O'Donnell.
Michael Aylesworth beat Jim Metro.
And then you had Julie Altoff beating Shelley Vandenberg. That was tight.
Yeah. So it'll, people will find out. I mean, if you think about it, the only statewide elected Democrat is Joe Donnelly. And, he's got a bullseye on his back now because in 2 years,
Mitch Daniels is going to run against him?
I don't know. Hopefully maybe Todd Rokita. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, but you know what? The problem is big-time Republicans already turned their back on Todd.
Not necessarily. You know what? Eric Holcomb was Mike Pence's choice, and they weren't going to go against Mike Pence if he was going to become the next vice president.
I don't know.
We can talk about that one later on.
Sounds kind of fishy to me.
But, the thing of it is the Dems have, this time around, we had more seats to defend in the Senate than the Dems did. Next time around, they've got a lot more seats to defend than we do. So it'll be a very interesting cycle where they're going to have to put their resources and their money in a lot of places where, we may be able to pick that up and, end up with 2 senators again.
He is Andy Cornell, and he is the head of the Republican
senators,
party. And we're going to go through the full results in just a minute. I'm not going to play Trump's speech again, but I will play the hanky-panky thing from the preacher again. All right, I got all sorts of stuff. Let's hear from you. Let's see Uncle Pont. Hey, Uncle, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you? Good morning.
What do you think?
Well, I only have one thing I really have to say.
Yeah.
You had 3 gentlemen on last night on your radio show doing the results.
Yeah.
Can you name them?
I think so. Let me see. Dave Kuziak, Matt Reardon. It was actually 4 gentlemen. Dan Durnall, who's the head of the Republican.
I think wasn't
Dan Durnall and Kevin Pastrick.
Kevin Pastrick was on. I thought somebody said the mayor was on too.
Yeah,
you were kind of close on that one.
All right, if you're going to say something that I need to dump, tell me ahead of time so I can.
No.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I think Sam Kinison came on that program last night when the no Munster results came in.
When the no Munster?
I think it got to him a little bit.
Oh, did he get excited?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, I had all kinds of stuff.
Hold on a second. Uncle, what are you saying? What happened? I missed it.
He was pretty perturbed that no Munster results were in, and they were getting ready to go off the air.
Oh, because, I left here about 7:30. Alexis and I always show our faces just to make sure that everyone knows we're listening. And it all seemed kind of sedate, and everybody was just moving along. So Kuziak got a little yanked off on no results.
Oh, yeah, he pulled the Sam Kinison. Yep.
All right, well, it's on Facebook, so there's nothing we can do about it now.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, what do you think?
I think it's going to be interesting. Very interesting. Well, things are going to change, definitely.
What about Verley's comment? You don't need to put a Confederate flag anymore. You just put a Trump sign up.
We need to, and I can't stay all day, but we need to talk about the show yesterday that you had with the mayor. Oh man.
We got to play that. We'll play that. Hey, thanks a lot, Uncle. Talk to you.
Okay.
See ya. Let's go to Walt and see how Walt's doing. Walt, what do you think about all this, man?
Well, I was glad to see that the Republicans retain control of the House and the Senate, because that will allow Mr. Trump to get his agenda through. And I suspect that given this wave of popular uprising, in effect, we're talking about the revolt of the middle class, the middle and working class people saying, enough, we've had it.
You know what? That's a good way of putting it. The revolt of the middle class.
That actually is good. Hey, and Walt, thank you for your support of Donald Trump and the Republican ticket.
Well, there were a lot of people who worried people who the number one question I would get when I go around the conservative circles was, do you think Trump can win? I said, yes, I do. I wouldn't be supporting him if I didn't think he could win. You don't understand the level of unhappiness out there in middle America. Lots of job opportunities, and not only for middle-aged men, but their kids. The kid goes to school, goes to college, comes out with a degree, can't find a job, and ends up having to live in the basement, kind of thing. I mean, this is really. Then you talk about Obamacare. Then you talk about these endless Middle Eastern wars, on and on and on. The public, Ukraine. What's Washington? What's Obama doing, making a big deal about Ukraine? I mean, American public made very clear they wanted no military involvement in Ukraine. They didn't even want economic involvement, and Obama went ahead anyway. We've got troops there. We're sending money in for military purposes and ticking off the Russians, a country that is a natural ally of the United States. And you put that all together, and you see the results. But I was glad to see that Mr. Holcomb won. I dropped by the Holcomb office on Tuesday in Highland. I was talking to the office manager, and I said to her, based on my calling for them, plus the way the numbers were looking for Trump in Indiana, I said to her, I think Mr. Holcomb is going to win despite the disadvantage of starting so late in the game. And she said to me, our polls indicate that he is doing very well. And so I'm glad to see that Mr. Holcomb won. Didn't Mr. Young defeat Bai?
Yeah, we're going to go through those results now. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Well,
Put your headset on, will you?
I had my headset on.
Oh, all right. So, hey, Walt, one last question. You were sitting there making calls for Trump, and you were making calls for Holcomb, and all of these people. Any specific trend of the comments that you were hearing from people?
No. I've done telephone calling for many, many years, over the years, and you just have to develop a sense about where this thing is going. And I sense that I worked the phones for Trump 6 days when they had the Griffith office, and I felt that Trump had a very good chance of doing very well in Indiana. But the thing that convinced me that Trump was a serious candidate is the fact that the Democrats were stealing his sign.
Sign stealing. All right, leave it right there, Walt. We'll leave it right there. We got plenty of people, buddy. Talk to you. Hey, Ron, will you do me a favor? Will you go up and give me the exact point on that Facebook Live video that McDermott calls in? I think it's at about 17 minutes left on yesterday's Facebook Live video. Hey, I'm Jim Dedelow. He's Andy Quinnell. You want to watch us on Facebook? Go to facebook.com/WJOB1230. You can also get us on YouTube at WJOB1230. And if you can't remember any of that, just go to WJOB1230.com and you'll get there. Andy, your comment?
I can't express any more about Walt helping out, first off. And again, Walt was one of the early adopters of Trump. He was like MX and MX Charlie and Mad Mac, who, 16 months ago, it seems like they were all, hey, Trump's going to be the next president. Trump's going to be the next president. And I know I was sitting here saying, I'm waiting for him to implode.
There it is. All right, we got plenty of people who want to talk, and we're going to go a little faster than we normally do. We're just like lackadaisical, haphazard radio, and let's move it along today. Let's go to David in Pennsylvania. Hi, David. How are you?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Andy, I got to tell you, Pennsylvania, you got to be proud of Pennsylvania.
I'm proud of you, Dave, and Joe and Jim for pulling it out.
He only won, right? Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Scranton.
Yeah.
By slim margins, and Philadelphia. He didn't take our county, Chester County. He didn't take Delaware County, right? My old county.
Yep.
So I'm proud to be a Pennsylvanian today. More importantly, just proud to be in America because the system works. And that's what's so great.
Hey, Dave, let me ask you a question before you chum it up here with Andy. Chester County was actually in play if I was watching CNN and Fox. What was it that, did you guys think you guys were going to win Pennsylvania? Some of the numbers had it going the other way. What was it?
No.
What was it that turned it at the end?
You know what? I'm really not sure, but I just think the voter turnout in Chester County was huge. It was huge, and I don't think it was as much for Romney because I just he just wasn't. He's just not like a Pennsylvania guy, right? So. I just don't think they came out to support him. But you know what? Because a lot of Pennsylvania is industry, right, and hardworking people, and they're sick of it. They're sick of what's happening and losing jobs and not being able to go to work.
What is a typical Pennsylvania guy? All right, let me paint one. Slight drinking problem, pot belly, maybe a little bit of dirt underneath the fingernail, and a really weird accent.
Wearing camo, right?
Wearing camo.
Right? Yeah.
All right,
That's what we are, and we're football-loving people.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania loves their football.
Although Dave would fit right in Indiana because he's a big basketball player.
How do you know Andy Quinnell, David?
So we worked together for, how many years, Andy?
Over 20 now, I guess it is.
20 years, yeah. Yep, in the senior living business, which is a great business for this country.
All right, Dave, thanks for calling in. You can watch us anytime on Facebook. Buddy.
Dave, I'll call you later.
Right. Thanks a lot, guys.
219-845-1100. Roland, how are you?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Jed.
Morning, Roland. How are you?
Anyone tired this morning?
Oh, I'm beat. I think I was up for like 36 hours straight.
I'm getting too old to stay up for all this stuff.
Hey, Roland, I think the general, at least here in media, was very, we got some money that came in, but I think I'm just kind of relieved that it's all over. I don't know if anybody is sharing that feeling.
Oh,
I can't wait to not see all this coverage in the media.
Yeah.
I'm so done with the media coverage and everything, whether it was, whatever party you were for, it was just overdone. I'm so glad the last 18 months are behind us. But I wanted to call up a little bit. Let's talk about this 12th race, Andy. And you and I had this conversation before. I'm interested to see the numbers, and I haven't looked at the paper to see what each area voted for a representative. But you and I talked. I said it's going to come down to Munster Mom, and whether you agree or not with me before, Andy, whether you say, well, yeah, it's a supermajority downstate, we're not going to get anything. It's almost like the national election. This is almost like an FU to because of this school funding formula. Our hands are tied in Munster, and it seems like no one downstate wants to listen to us.
I would tend to agree, but they're not going to listen more now.
You and I have both been in the political business for a while. You know that, but just like the national election, it was the same kind of thing on a national level when it came down to the Trump election. People are tired of some of this business as usual, and I think it's a wave kind of carried across the country. I was shocked this morning to see the numbers of Indiana with the statewide Republicans and how well they really did, because they really cleaned house in Indiana at the state level.
Well, and I haven't looked at the Lake County numbers completely, but I will tell you, I don't think Lake County delivered for, John, Gregg, and Evan By the way that they've been able to do in the past. And I think it's
right here. I got them, and I wanted to talk about
it. It goes
that.
back to the enthusiasm level,
Right.
because she did not excite people. I mean,
no. Well, here's the deal. I'm a union contractor. My family's been in business for 100 years.
By the way, we got to talk about one thing real quick.
Okay.
How is it pouring concrete at Wrigley?
We loved it. Loved pouring down there. And the funny thing is, in 2005, I did the project at the cell. So maybe the Bears will call us up for a job coming up.
There you go.
Maybe I'm your lucky charm.
Yeah.
But anyways, all the union guys, and we never really talk politics at work, because I don't cross that line with the guys I work with. But I was just listening to them talk, and these are all diehard union guys, and not a guy that I've heard that works with me, and it said they were going for Hillary. And I was shocked, and I said, this is going to be an interesting election, because all these guys are diehard union guys. A lot of them are second generation from Mexico, and they were all going for Trump because they wanted to make sure there was a process, just like how they came in, that it was legal and followed.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I mean, it's not just the Hispanics in the union, I would tell you, Roland. A lot of these union guys get it that, their jobs are being shipped away. Yeah, maybe their leadership is telling them, hey, we want to vote Democrat because that's what we always do. But they see that their jobs are being shipped away. And really, Trump, from the beginning, Trump and Bernie Sanders were the only two talking about it.
I got to slow you guys down. I got a bunch of people behind you. Roland, thanks for calling in.
Gentlemen,
I appreciate it.
have a great day.
Take it easy, Roland. Thanks again.
It's going to take a village to wake up Hillary today.
Yeah.
Talk to you. Bye.
Thanks.
Hey, Ryan, can you see if you can get Mara Candelaria Reardon to call in? Let's review that race real quickly. That was the State District 12. That was a rare Democratic victory this time around. And it is 16,000 for Mara Candelaria Reardon and about 13,200 for Bill Fine. So that's 55 to 45. That's a huge win. And it is really the only big one on the board. There's some that was, contested for the Democratic Party. Let's keep it moving on. Let's go to we got to do a heavy. Kenny Benich, how are you?
Good morning, Jim. How are you today?
Good.
Hey, I'd like to wish my friend and your lovely bride a happy birthday today.
You know what?
Oh, is it?
Thanks. You know what? Thanks for reminding me, Kenny. You know what?
Is it Alexis's birthday today?
You know what?
And you haven't said anything about it?
God, look
and it's
at
after
this.
6:18?
Look at this. I'm just writing it down. You know what? You're right. It is her birthday today. Thank you so much for reminding us, Kenny.
Well, hey, we know that the power of women, so that's why I called in for my friend.
She is your friend.
Have yourself a great day.
Hey, she is a good friend to you, Kenny. Thanks a lot.
You saved him.
Saved my butt, man.
You better call the
Hey,
florist.
Ryan, can you call Dixon's real quick and get some flowers? All right, let's go to Jake on line 3. Hey, Jake, how are you?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy birthday to the boss.
Yep.
And many more. Hey, the respond to this, I got something else right after that, but Julie Althoff and Pence, I guess RFRA doesn't have as much power behind it as we all thought, huh? That's pretty crazy.
You know what? Let's address that. When that came out about being an anti-gay measure and so forth, and a lot of people were calling in and saying Pence is done. Anybody who voted for it is done. I kind of laughed at that. First of all, the election was a long way away.
Yeah.
And it was just not true, man. Just wasn't true.
Vandenberg ran a lot of commercials about that, though.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, she only lost by 13 votes. Can you imagine?
No, she actually...
It says right here, 13.
Yeah, but part of that district's in Porter County, and Julie ended up winning by 300 in Porter County.
Oh, okay, all right. So that's not included in the Lake County numbers.
No.
So what's going on, Jake?
And then the other thing was, I was watching last night the coverage, and they were absolutely stunned that Trump actually pulled more Hispanic vote. I don't know the true number.
I saw something about that this morning.
More Hispanic vote than
Romney did.
Yeah, right, Romney. I mean,
in absolute numbers.
In absolute numbers.
Listening to what's going on, really aren't listening. It's not that racist or people hate. The Hispanics themselves say, yeah, there's a problem. So, yeah, it's a good day. Good job, guys.
Hey, hold on a second. Verlia was on this morning reiterating her contention that you no longer need to put a Confederate flag out. You can just put a Trump sign out. What do you say to that?
I think Burley's lost her voice through all this. So
yeah, and I got to tell you, the way she treated the mayor yesterday about the mayor's opinion of Arredondo, which I think that's pretty much everybody's opinion about him. I mean, when you look around, he got. I bet you I haven't looked that close statewide. I bet you he got spanked the worst statewide.
All right, Jake. Thanks, buddy. Let's move on. We got to take some more. Let's go to Jamie. Jamie, how are you, bud?
Good, guys. How are you? Hey, great coverage last night. But the only thing, everybody was saying Kuziak went nuts. The only thing Kuziak did was he did exactly what people did when Gary couldn't get the votes in. Why does it take 4 hours after the election closes to get the votes in for Munster? How come we didn't have Munster's numbers?
The problem is the county didn't have the numbers in. They didn't go out of Wicker Park until I think it was like almost 9:15, 9:30.
Why? It's a machine. Remember?
Because they take everything in. I go through this process every year. People don't realize what goes on. I mean, I start at 3:30 in the morning on election day. And
how come everybody else got it done, though? But
they didn't. No, they didn't. What you don't realize is
they gave everybody else's numbers, but Munster couldn't give anybody's numbers. Highland called and gave their numbers. Everybody else.
But that's not the complete number. That's the problem. It's not the complete number.
Give anything though.
Yeah, we did. We gave them some. Well, never mind.
Hold on a second. The guy has a good point.
Andy, I listened all night.
Yeah, I know. I sent over to. By the way, I wasn't supposed to be giving the numbers because I said I had a busy evening. I wasn't going to be able to get them from them.
Well, somebody shouldn't they?
Well, they could get them from the Dem. They could get them from the Dem side too.
Yeah, but wait a second. Hold on a second. How is it that the Gary numbers were showing up on the referendum at like 7:15, 7:30, and the numbers for the state rep District 12 were, but the Munster school board numbers weren't there? And, I mean, all these other numbers were there.
That was early voting. That was all early voting.
Andy, you guys trashed Rudy Clay a couple years ago. Just trashed him because they couldn't get the numbers in. Now people should trash Munster.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We weren't. First off, it's not my job to get the numbers to Kuziak, okay?
Well, somebody's numbers to get them in.
I don't know who he was supposed to. They asked me about it. I said I would try to get them numbers, but it wasn't my job to get them numbers. And this isn't like any type of.
You don't care about the Northwest Indiana people knowing the numbers, is what you're saying.
I was doing other things. I wasn't taking in the numbers.
You don't have anybody else that can do that?
It wasn't my job to do it. I didn't. They could have gotten someone else to get them in as well.
So Munster answered, "Not my job."
No.
That's why
I don't think you understand the whole process of what's going on. When we take in the numbers, what happens is you get poll closes. Okay, this is where everything kind of gets messed up. I'll take you through the process. Poll closes.
We don't want to go. We can't go from A to Z on this thing. Everyone else's numbers were in last night.
Those numbers didn't get posted. Those numbers didn't get posted. Let me finish how the process goes. The polls close. You get the tapes come out from. They print 3 tapes before one goes in the bag. One goes to the Democrats. One goes to the Republicans. Okay. Then they take all that stuff to Wicker Park. Then all that stuff goes from Wicker Park down to the county, and then it gets posted.
But Munster didn't do their job, so nobody got their numbers.
What's that?
But Munster didn't do it, so they was able to get Munster's numbers over.
All right, thanks a lot, Jamie. We're losing you. We're losing you there. But let's go through the school town of Munster. According to the website right here, I've got the 3 winners here as John Doherty with over 5,000 votes.
Castro.
And with Ingrid Schwartz-Wolf with about 4,800. And then John Castro narrowly beating Thomas Greist by about 5 votes. So that's what I have here.
Okay, so that's different than what came up last night.
Well, this is with all precincts are in and all precincts reporting according to the website. Number of precincts.
What time is that thing stamped at?
Stamped at 12/17/03. So it's stamped today.
Yeah, because last night they kept. If you look at this one here, that's blank. Yeah, they had this one with the early vote on. 8:34 they put the early vote up, and then they never changed it until probably about 11 o'clock.
Okay, well, for some reason, everyone else changed, but the Munster. So here we do have the Munster results. So hold on a second. Let's talk about this. You got Doherty, Schwartz, Wolf, and Castro. I don't know if Thomas Christ is he the Griffith police officer?
No, he's not a police officer at all.
Okay,
He's James Gregg, the two DARE officers, the one in Griffith and the one in Munster. He's their brother.
Oh, okay. So he's the non-police officer, Grice.
Yeah.
He loses by 5 votes. I don't know if he's going to ask for a recount, but he's going to go. Can you go through the rolls and look at who didn't vote?
Oh, yeah.
So you could call your buddies and like, dude, I lost by 5 votes. Nobody in your family voted. What is wrong with you? But anyways, so what does this mean for this Munster school board? That's 3 new people.
Yeah, and 3 interesting people, 3 diverse backgrounds. So, Doherty's got a physical therapy background. Castro is a stockbroker. And Ingrid Schwartz, of course, is a dentist. So, that diversity is going to probably help expand what Melissa Higginson and Ronna Stojic are already doing there.
All right, let's go. One more, and then we got to take a break. Hey, Betty, how are you?
Hi. I have a question. In the polling places, you're allowed, your 2 clerks, a judge, and an inspector.
Correct.
Is anybody else, say like me, allowed to go in there if they're not voting?
No, well, it depends. You have to have credentials to go into a polling place.
Okay, these people that came into, this is by Sacred Heart and Whiting, they just came in there to have a conversation.
They cannot do that.
Now, who do you call?
You should call the County Board of Elections, and that's what I do on Election Day. I operate as a Deputy Elections Commissioner.
Okay.
And we come out and basically solve problems. I can go into any polling place and work through that. The only people that can be in a polling place, of course, is a voter.
Right.
You have the 5 members of the election board,
yes,
which are, the inspector, 2 judges, 2 clerks. The judge, there's a Republican and Democrat judge, a Republican and Democrat clerk. And then if you have a poll book holder or a poll watcher or a challenger that has credentials for that particular precinct, because those credentials are specific to that precinct.
Okay.
So.
But yesterday they were just coming in and just talking.
That happens more than you can imagine, Betty.
I hate when people talk too much, don't you, Betty? Hey, all right, Betty. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we got to hit some spots. Thanks to all of our sponsors who have been very, very patient during the political season. We get a new light system out of it, and that's all I was hoping for. Be right back.
Hi, this is Dave, the pharmacist and owner of Quick Scripts Pharmacy. In case you didn't hear, we now have 2 locations to better serve you. We accept all insurances, including Medicare Part D, and we have great prices for those without insurance. Open 7 days a week, and we offer free delivery. Our over-the-counter items are affordable, and our specialty items are delivered next day. Our 2 locations are Ridge Road in downtown Lansing and Broad Street in downtown Griffith. And thanks for shopping local.
Napleton River Oaks Honda has been serving Northwest Indiana for generations and is still going strong today. Now we're extending Napleton employee pricing to you, our neighbors. Check out riveroakshonda.com during the Happy Honda Day sale event. Plus, local military, police, and firefighters get an additional $1,000. Napleton River Oaks Honda, right off 94 on Torrance.
Napleton, second to none since 1931.
On select models, excludes Honda Fit, CRZ, HRV, and Insight. $1,000 dealer discount, service verification required.
The Momentum Makers of First Midwest Bank. The momentum to help you buy a house, to grow your business from the ground up, to build your child's college fund. The momentum to build a brighter future for you and your family. It's why we roll up our sleeves every day. Why we take the time to get to know you. Why we bring a solid work ethic to everything we do. The Momentum Makers of First Midwest Bank. Learn more at firstmidwest.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Bootleg Liquors has the very best selection of beer, wine, and hard alcohol at the lowest prices around the region. Bootleg Liquors now has a new location to better serve you, and that's at 1955 45th Street in Griffith. That's along with their original location, of course, that's at 803 Ridge Road in Griffith. Our service and prices can't be beat, so stock up now at Bootleg Liquors.
I was listening, so I want to ask Verley a question, if it's all right.
Yes, Mayor.
Verley, describe what I was talking about, why I don't support Judge Arredondo. Tell me why. And I want you to tell the audience that you support that behavior.
According to Jim, he said you were on the air and you brought up the fact that he and Judge Paris made a deal where he dropped out of a race and Judge Paris signed up.
10 minutes before the filing.
But if you recall, regardless to whether they did that or not, Sheriff Roy Dominguez, his nephew, got in that race. So it still didn't prevent anybody.
That behavior?
It did not prevent.
No, let me talk.
Okay.
Well,
you asked me a question, so I was still responding.
Everybody assumes that I'm running for re-election. And then 5 minutes before the filing deadline, I pull out and I put in Dave Ham or Kevin Smith. And nobody else files because they think Mayor McDermott is running. You support that type of behavior.
First of all, let me tell you.
That's bad politics. Really.
All right. First of all, let me tell you this, Mayor McDermott. Regardless to whether you choose to run again or not, if I chose to run, it's your being in the race is not going to stop me. So just because an incumbent's in the race, if I want to run for something, I don't care who it is. I'll get on the ballot. So if anybody kept out of that race because they thought that Judge Arredondo was going to run, well, then that was their fault that they stayed out of it. Because there have been lots of races. Evan Bayh pulled out of a race right after a primary where other people could have gotten in that race. I don't hear the same people saying that they're not going to support Evan Bayh.
Mayor, what do you think?
I think that that's bad politics. I think what Evan Bayh did severely hurt our party in 2010. Okay? I think what Judge Arredondo did with Judge Paris limited a lot of attorneys' ability to run for judge that may have been interested, but they respected Judge Arredondo so much they didn't run. I think if I did it, it would be sleazy politics. And I would never do that. If I'm going to drop out, I'm going to drop out, and everybody's going to know it. I'm not going to slam somebody in there 5 minutes before the deadline because that's sleazy politics, and that's something you obviously support.
Well, apparently I support the best
Sleazy
candidate.
politics.
I don't support sleazy politics, Mayor McDermott.
What you're saying?
Okay, because you've done some sleazy things throughout your career in politics. How did you get into the Democratic Party? Did you vote in a primary, or did someone switch your party for you?
I was brought in by Chairman Stiglitz.
Ah,
Absolutely.
see? Exactly. So don't talk to me about sleazy politics, please.
You support sleazy politics. Your hatred.
You are such. That's like calling the kettle black.
Okay.
Come on.
Hey, Mayor, let's circle back to that. The Arredondo and Paris, that ought to do it for now, huh?
Yeah, that's enough of that. We got to go to Toll Road.
Wait a second. I'm running the show here.
I
put my
came
new
in
shirt
here
on.
with
I put my clean shirt on.
I came in here with like 2.5 hours worth of sleep.
Hey, happy birthday, honey. Happy birthday to Alexis. Right now it is 46 degrees in Hammond, Highland. Here at the Strachan Van Til Studios, 46. It's a little warmer along the lake, 52 degrees. We got some cooler weather coming our way, as we got a nice sunny day at 57. Tomorrow high of 62, and then it cools off going into the weekend, but still kind of sunny. Weather, of course, is brought to you by Labor's 41. Let's take a look at what's going on the roadways. 290, I ate some for a little bit there. Sorry, it's not going down. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east, and 294 is tight from Cicero up all the way up to 55. 80 going east and west looks nice. Bishop Ford up the good of the Southland looks pretty good. Jane Burns a little tight to get into right now. 80 Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, US 30 Klein Avenue. Those are all moving along well. This traffic update brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Visit them right off 94 and Torrance Avenue in Lansing, or online at riveroakshonda.com. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube now, we've added YouTube Live, and you can go to WJOB1230.com and find either one of those, whatever works better for you. more and more people are gravitating towards watching the show rather than just listening, and we would welcome you to do the same. You'll see Barney Rubble here looking at you right close to the camera, and in the distance back there is Fred Flintstone. So we got the whole Flintstones gathering going on. Yabba-dabba-doo is right. And in terms of what's going on in the markets, it was down about 700 points for a while there, or late evening, and it's down about 290 right now. Is it a huge buying opportunity? Did you sleep through it or miss it? Probably. I don't know why it would be down 700 points because Trump's coming on. It didn't make any sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if by today it gets close to zero on the day. And that's what we have. Andy Cornell is the chairman of the Munster Republican Party. And, of course, my name is Jim Dedelow, host of JED in the region here at the Purdue Northwest Commercialization Center. I do have a couple of plugs. First of all, I would like to plug my wife's birthday, Alexis Vasquez Dedelow. You can get her on Facebook and send her a happy birthday message. She is the owner of this radio station and has the ultimate final say on all that goes on, as Andy will attest, and anybody close to me that says, come on, Jed, you're really running the show. I ran the show in my trading operation for 18 years. I don't want to be the last word. She's the last word, and she's the last word in our family. And happy birthday, honey. I know it was a tough night for you last night, and it's been tough all the way through the elections. But, hey, we're going today to take a picture in front of the Cubs marquee for her birthday. That is the present she wanted. So I got to fight the traffic, take her up there, take a picture, and then have dinner with our daughter who goes to DePaul. And that is quite the birthday. And you know what? I am in a rescue marriage. There's no doubt about it. She rescued me years ago and continues to do that on a daily basis. All right. Second of all, I want to tell another very well local Hispanic a ton of thank yous, and that is Ray Garcia Jr. He brought a spread last night of food that was amazing. He brought this rice concoction without any meat because he knows I don't eat meat, and he brought some of the queso fundido without the chorizo, and he also brought some pork tacos. And the guys that ate here were just like stuffed, and this whole thing smelled like bad breath, especially from Kuziak sitting in my chair where I'm sitting right now. But thanks a lot to El Taco Real for sponsoring and for catering last night. What do you think, man? Trump wins. Holcomb wins. Todd Young wins over Evan Bayh. Curtis Hill beats
Arredondo.
Lorenzo Arredondo. Even Glenda Ritz loses. And so what was her name again? Jackie something or other?
Jennifer McCormick.
Jennifer McCormick. She was so unknown that, I mean, a lot of people didn't even know who that was. Complete Republican sweep at the state level, at the national level.
Hey, we haven't even talked about Jerry Tippie.
The Terry Shube.
Jerry Tippie took out Shube, which he should have anyways. Shube, we could talk about that one later.
Jerry Tippie, who is a Chervilletown councilman, a Republican, beats the longtime 20-year councilman, Jerry Shube, in a pretty tight race. So even that one went, and that could have gone either way. Jerry Tippie, give us a call, 219-845-1100. Tippie and I kind of got into it for a little while, as you well know, and we've mended those fences and we've had conversations, but he still won't come on the air with me.
I think I might bring him on the when is the
No, that's too safe. 20th. He's got to come with me, man.
Well, we'll have to see what we could do for you. I'm always mending these fences for you. You notice I'm getting these people for you and doing that. It's because you're just kind of a Berkeley guy.
Hey, and almost more importantly, and I didn't even know it wasn't legal, marijuana is now legal in Berkeley, California. And you know what, Andy? The whole time I thought I already thought it was legal. What does that mean? All right, let's go on. Let's talk to, let's go, I think.
Toll Road.
I think Dave was first, okay. then the deplorable. Hey. David, how are you, man?
Awesome. Could not have a great night's sleep. Hey, Andy, congratulations. You guys had a good run and a good sweep.
Yeah.
So good for you. But there's two things. I think there's one person you need to thank, and that would be Debbie Wasserman Schultz for blackballing the one guy that could have beaten Trump handily.
Well, actually, somebody
agree
was,
with me, don't you?
Somebody
You
was
agree
saying, somebody was telling me, and I don't know how you do a write-in vote, because you have to notify that you're doing write-ins. But somebody said, I forget what precinct it was in Munster, that Bernie Sanders got 2 votes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, he should have got more than that.
Yeah.
He should have been
but as a write-in
on the ticket, but he was blackballed. And the other good thing is, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is not going to get the ambassadorship to Bimini that Hillary probably promised her. So she's unemployed, and you guys swept. Not surprised. I think we knew Mara's race. And Fines was going to be a nail biter, and Tippy and Shub was going to be a nail biter. And this all goes back to the redistricting, and to the victor goes the spoils, and that's a massive district to go from Munster to the Kankakee River.
Yep.
That is just a ridiculous, amazing district, and for that commissioner race, but. Well, we'll see what happens. And, Jed, obviously, I sent you that text yesterday about the market, didn't I?
It was a buying opportunity.
Yeah, well, I said it was going to crash.
Yeah, well, it's only down 280.
That's what I sent you.
It's 280 now. It was 700 overnight. That was nuts.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, David. Hey, we do need to hit one before we go to the deplorable on line 3. It looks like the Gary Public Schools did not pass the referendum.
No, and I was out that way yesterday, and they were really pushing hard for it. Got to give whoever had put that together. I mean, they had a very organized effort to try and pass that referendum to help them with their debt.
It didn't pass,
and it didn't pass, and it lost.
The schools might dissolve.
It lost by 1,600 votes. 1,500. It wasn't.
No. They lost by 300 votes. 300 votes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got newer numbers.
Yeah, I got newer numbers. Yeah.
Because it was last night. It was a little.
So it was 93-89 to 90-68. So that's
I had something. I had like an 89 to 96, or I can't remember what it was.
So I don't know what's going to happen to Gary Schools. It was a referendum to basically tax more to get some more money for the schools. It looks like it's rejected right now. Now the state's got to decide. I mean, is it possible that the Gary Public Schools could dissolve completely? Yes, it is a possibility.
No, it is.
All right, let's take the deplorable on line 3.
You got to love the deplorable.
Hey, you forgot racist too, Jim.
Hold on a second. Let me put this down. Racist, deplorable.
Hey, Tom.
Racist, deplorable. You can.
Tom, can you take that? Can you take that pseudo Confederate flag out of your yard now, please?
I fly it proudly because that's what I've been deemed by said sidekick there on Tuesday. But it's morning in America.
I actually, when I came home last night, all my signs were gone, including my Hillary for Prison sign, and I said, "Holy cow! Somebody stole my signs." And my wife said, "No, we pulled them out because we didn't want somebody stealing them before you got home." So I still have my pseudo Confederate flag sign, which is that Trump sign that, as it's been deemed.
I think the best part of the evening for me, Andy, was when my two teenage boys, I sat them down and gave them a civics lesson that should be given in school, but obviously it's not. These are 13 and 15-year-olds that really didn't understand the Electoral College and why it's done, and why we vote and how this whole thing takes out. But Andy, Rick, and myself, we were right there when it all first started.
Yep.
And what did I tell you about a year ago? Who was going to be the next president?
You told me it was going to be him. Even my son told me it was going to be Trump.
You guys told me I was nuts.
Hey, Tom, I got to tell you, what's funny is, Dana actually caught Vince at, I think it was about 12 o'clock last night. We were sitting down at my bar after I got home because I couldn't stay out any longer. And I had a couple people over, and we're watching the results, waiting for the final to come in. And Dana had gone up to check on Vince, and she caught him on his phone looking at the results in there. So my 13-year-old son was concerned about what was going to happen. So
the media showed their true colors.
Yep.
All the way up to was it 2:15 this morning?
Yeah, I was.
Results for Michigan were done. He was up by 75,000 votes. None of them would call it. She wouldn't get out there and concede.
Yeah, I mean, when you and I were
out her surrogate to say, I thought we were having a Rudy Clay moment.
Yeah,
we're
you
still
and
counting the votes.
You and I were exchanging texts when when Podesta went out, and we both said, "I can't believe she wasn't doing it."
Yeah, this is a woman that said this man won't concede the election if he thinks it's lost, and she does the same exact thing. What kind of person like that would be elected president? And thank God she's not.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Mayor, you want to respond to that?
There is no racketeering going on here in Lake County, Indiana.
This is ridiculous.
Well, first of all,
this is ridiculous.
Well, I think I've explained it 4 or 5 times here, and
this is ridiculous.
I'm not sure that ever gets old. He's Andy Quinnell. Andy, let's talk about the media's role in all this, because we have plenty of comments on the text line that are coming in, and a lot of them are very negative, saying that this basically jams it up the backside of the liberal-based media. How do you feel about that?
As you know, I'm a Republican, so I have a built-in aversion to the media, thinking that they're very liberally biased. I think it was very true throughout this whole thing. They'd show how much they would talk about everything with Trump. They'd never talk about issues about Hillary. Last night, even, I'm a Fox News guy, so I got Fox News on. I'm watching this thing towards the end when, they're trying to pull these. And people were saying, hey, they, CNBC or MSNBC or, CNN or NBC has Trump, because they had Trump at 254 on Fox, and they'd say, they've only got him at 244 or 230. I got people calling me and texting me. I'm like, no, they wouldn't call it, even though like all these news outlets had called it already. The AP had called it and everything. They didn't want to call it. They were just, I don't know if you want to call it in denial and everything, but it kind of bothers you that they didn't want this. They were adamantly, the media was adamantly opposed to it. And, and you and I have had this argument, that's not fair. You can find the media anywhere. But, people do get a lot of their news and their biasness, I believe, still from network, and not just network news. CNN.
I think the results of last night kind of fly in the face of what you're saying. In other words, one thing is to say that the results jam it up the backside of a liberal media, and I get that. But then it also shows that if there was a liberal media that's trying to control an election, they were ineffective.
Well, and that's what I was about to say. They are no longer effective at this. It's a whole new age where you can go out and find, news and information. You don't just have to go to a, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, like you would have, and WGN even, say, like you would have 25, 30 years ago. Or what you would have done, say 15 years ago or 20 years ago when you'd hit all the cable news outlets. Now you have all these internet news outlets in different ways, and Facebook and things that will allow you to get your news real time, and it may be with a different biasness or slant than what you're used to.
What the heck is a biasness?
Sorry.
Biascosity?
It's huge.
Let's see what Uncle Joe's doing. Uncle Joe, how are you?
Pretty good, Dave. Or Jed.
Did you just call me Kuziak? What is your problem?
Hey, you brought up one thing. I want to make sure you continue researching that. I was concerned about the 800-point drop in the stock market, and then they even terminated a trade because of volume or something like that, and resumed it. And I was just wondering, maybe the investors were realizing that Trump was winning, and they shifted from the 800 to 300 or whatever it was. But the international market has a lot to do with what we're doing. We're a player, and I was concerned about what direction we're going. And keep keep an eye on that subject, if you would, please.
All right, I'm going to address that right now. Thank you. All right, first of all, I'm just going to give you guys all a trading lesson, okay? As you guys well know, I traded for 18 years at the Board of Trade, and that's how I was able to buy 2 radio stations and a newspaper, okay? And here's my trading.
What happened to that newspaper, by the way?
That one didn't work. That was the best business decision I ever made was to close that newspaper.
I had to be a jerk.
Yeah, but listen, here's the way you trade, okay? And it's the same way that I do media, okay? It took me 10 to 12 years to figure this out. You can't apply logic to the markets. You can't try to predict the markets. All you can do is just kind of lay down and take a deep breath and accept the market world as it comes. That's all you can do. It took 10 years for me of losing all of my money twice and having to come home and tell Alexis, hey, you know what? We don't have any money left. What do you mean we don't have any money left? I lost it all today. Okay, well, what do we do now? You know, I don't know. You guys still want to go to Dairy Queen or not? Just don't use the debit card, okay? And that's a simple. You're trying to apply logic to last night, and if you ask me, just the entire watching CNBC and all of the financial media and so forth, there's a lot of speculation and analysis that just doesn't even make any sense, or it's just trying to get your money in.
Is this some sort of correction? I mean, we're going to see the markets change here, you know, in what do we got, an hour and a half?
I'm telling you, it'll probably be up to zero by the end of the day.
Yeah, and it could be just something that was figured in. It also could be people just, you know.
So it's similar to doing media here in the morning.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. I just wait for the little rubber duckies to go by at the carnival, and then I pick one out. And there it is. Big truck, big truck, right as we're talking. And whatever's going by, that's what life is. That's what the markets are. That's what the world is. And so if you're going to go and you're going to watch for all the explanations today of why the market went down and what the market's going to do and this and that, everybody's getting paid for all of that. There's a big machine that is supported by that. And honestly, if you ask me, one day that machine breaks up and your best bets are to invest locally in things that are available to you, including yourself. But that's a different story altogether. Do not look for a reason today, in my mind. You look for a reason, you are doing a full search right there.
Let's go to MX.
What are you telling me what to do?
Because you know what? You need a little direction sometimes.
Knock, knock. Is MX home?
Who's there?
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown who?
Knock, knock. There's 3 stooges on the line at the same time. This could go on forever.
Who's there?
Hey, MX.
Yabba dabba doo.
What's going on, MX?
Well, of course, I had to make my Mimi cartoon. Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead.
Oh, wow, you're just harsh.
Well, you know what, Jed? Right now, I woke up this morning. It's the same feeling I got when I woke up as a kid in 1972. And my dad said, I got you American dirt bike. We ran over to Monar. I ran there. So that's the feeling I got. I think there's hope for America again. I look outside, it's sunny, and that's how I feel right now. We were in a path to disaster with all the manufacturing jobs lost. I think as you see Pennsylvania flip, Michigan flipped,
Wisconsin.
half of the union workers voted Trump.
You know,
tell you something.
I mean,
disgusted.
Hey, MX, this is what you were preaching last June of 2015. You were preaching the fact that, you know, Trump is going after the manufacturing. He's going after the working man. And you look at that, he won the Rust Belt. With the exception of Illinois, he took from Pennsylvania all the way around and won the Rust Belt.
Can I say, you know what? I was the first one that started. I want to say this word one more time. TPP. You know, I came home and I rammed it because my union told me about it, and that's what won was the trade. And you know what? And then Trump started on it, and Hillary supported it 45 times. You know what really hurts me? In the 30-year tenure, or the 40-year, actually it started in 85, I seen 22,000 guys I had to pack up and say, maybe you'll be back, guys. And how many times I had to go to the local saloon and drink with these guys. They had families, they had kids that were sick, and they lost their job due to the greediness of NAFTA and Clinton. I'm so happy. You know what? That's all I can say. I'm so happy. It's America once again.
All right.
I think Pence, if you look at Pence and you look at Trump, and you watch them guys walk, you watch the good things that are going to happen for this country.
Take it easy.
And by the way, I also want to add one in that we haven't talked about. Congratulations to Marissa McDermott. She is now the next circuit court judge. I'm sorry, I'm speechless this morning.
Andy Quinnell, thanks for coming in. And you got two choices.
What's that?
On the way out of you leaving here, you and I can either sing together, Got a Wife in Chino, that verse, or we can hear a little bit of this on your way out. It's your call. It's all up to you. Ready? Here we go. Got a wife in Chino, babe, and one in Cherokee. First one says she's got my child,
but it don't look like me.
I set out running.
But I'll take my time.
A friend of the devil
is a friend of mine.
If I get home before daylight,
I just might get some sleep tonight.
See you later, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, have a good one.
Dave Tarosi, what are you doing this morning?
Has been serving the region for 61 years. We are truly your very own local, family-owned and operated union print shop that cares about your business. Whether you're a politician in need of signs, mailers, or door hangers, an existing business, or a young entrepreneur just getting started, we can help make you look good and save you money. We're located at 3837 Ridge Road in Highland, or you can call us today at 923-1999 and hear me say, Baxter Printing.
2 full-service campuses, 1 extraordinary university. Purdue University Northwest has arrived, serving students at Hammond and Westville campuses, offering some 70 degree programs in the Purdue tradition of excellence, providing scores of services and resources to help students succeed. And with 13 sports teams, we are the pride of Northwest Indiana. For more information, visit pnw.edu. 2 campuses, 1 extraordinary Purdue Northwest.
Misprint has been the region's best source for all your printing, signs, vehicle graphics, and design needs for 3 decades. Misprint's highly experienced, friendly staff will provide the competent service and results the internet and our competition just can't deliver. Speaking of deliver is our middle name. Whether it's bringing your order to your office or prompt quality products, Misprint is dedicated to customer satisfaction. So if you want to experience the Misprint difference, stop in one of our 2 locations, Hammond or Munster, Indiana. You may also visit us online at misprintusa.com.
Make some noise, Maryville. It's time to applaud our very own Hannah Saracey of Andrean High School. Hannah just won the IHSAA Mental Attitude Award for Girls Class A Soccer. In addition to being named to the Academic All-State team, Hannah is a member of both the National Honor Society and the Spanish National Honor Society. She's also a student ambassador and volunteers at the Hammond Women's Center. Students like Hannah, who participate in education-based athletics, learn valuable life skills like teamwork, integrity, and perseverance, skills that will serve them well after they hang up their high school uniforms. The highly coveted IHSAA Mental Attitude Award is presented by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and is the most prestigious honor bestowed by the IHSAA. This message has been presented by the IHSAA, saluting our state's 160,000 student athletes. Thank you for choosing to go beyond the classroom to better yourself and your community.
Hey, before we move on, let's take a look at traffic right now, brought to you by our good friends at ArcelorMittal, the world's largest steel company. From bridges and cars to washing machines and buildings, steel is the heart of Northwest Indiana and the product of our future. Built by strong local 1010, local 1011, 1014 steel workers. Steel is part of our future. And what do you have in terms of, let me see, what was I going to say? Traffic. 294 around the city is tight between Cicero and 55. We have an accident on the right shoulder right before Archer Avenue. That has been cleared, but it's still creating a tsunami. 80 going east and west looks pretty good to Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman I-65. All right, guys, let's hear from ArcelorMittal, and then I'll be right back. Hey, 219-845-1100. We want to know how you feel this morning. You're waking up. You might have been at work for a while. Hey, how about little kids listening that haven't gone to school yet? What do you guys think about all this stuff? I want to hear. 219-845-1100. We've had dozens of phone calls already. Ryan doesn't have any guests for us because it's all you guys. Zeller's calling. All right, well, Greg Zeller might call. But other than that, Just tell us how you're feeling right now. What do you think about the future of America? ArcelorMittal is going to be part of it.
This is the sound of ArcelorMittal, the world's leading steel and mining company. We're transforming tomorrow for our families and communities by forging safe, sustainable steel and strong community partnerships.
October is National Energy Awareness Month, and ArcelorMittal takes energy conservation seriously. I'm Larry Fabina, Manager of Continuous Improvement at ArcelorMittal. We're the only steel company to earn the EPA's Energy Star Partner Award. In 10 years, ArcelorMittal USA has saved more than $160 million on energy. That's enough savings to power 28,000 homes a year. We're focused on energy efficiency and believe energy reduction is key to our company's sustainability.
ArcelorMittal is a region leader in energy conservation. Learn more at usa.arcelormittal.com/NWI.
Knock, knock, who's there? Got a wife in Chino, baby, one in Cherokee. You know, a lot of stuff's happened over the last 24 hours, but one of the most surprising ones to me personally is that the state of California has legalized recreational marijuana. And you know what? For the life of me, this whole time I thought it was legal in Berkeley, so it beats the Sam hell out of me. I guess I got to pay a little bit better attention. Hey, what's going on with the weather? And that, of course, is brought to you by Laborers Local 41, of which I am a very proud alum. Thanks a lot to 41, 395 ironworkers, 697 electricians, 142 Teamsters. All those guys come together and say, hey, you know what? We're going to support this local media, and I appreciate that. I am, of course, it's like being a Marine. Once you're a laborer, you're not like never not a laborer. You still dress like one. You have a goatee like one. Ryan, you going to answer those phones, or what's going on? Hey, 57 is your high today, partly sunny and pleasant here at the Vac and Strand Till Studios. It is 43 degrees on the campus of the Nerdu Northwest Commercialization Center, and 43 in Hambone, Indiana, 43 in Scaryville, 43 in Corn Point, and 43 in Lowell, Alabama. It's also 50 degrees in East Chicago. So that's just a very politically incorrect way of doing the weather, and I don't really give a rat. Hey, so what do you got? 57 is your high today, and then tomorrow 62 is your high, sunny and breezy. High of 51, partly sunny and cooler today, and then Saturday plenty of sunshine and a high of 51. Thanks to Kenny Benich for calling in and reminding me that it's my wife's birthday. I completely forgot. Ryan's on the phone right now with the local florist. And then I'll just go from there. And hopefully she's in court right now and not listening. I know one guy who's not in court right now, and he's listening to me very intently. That is the Attorney General of the state of Indiana, Gregg Zeller. Attorney General, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Now it's beautiful down here today. It's a nice fall day. And, as much as people predicted otherwise, the sun actually rose today, even after the election.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, there's some people who claim that it would be the end times if Donald Trump was elected. So I've had to go around and try to reassure people that we're a very strong country. We have a lot of checks and balances. The people on this show have heard me over and over talk about how we need to defend against the overreach of our federal government. So speaking as a lawyer first, as your Attorney General, I hope the members of my colleagues, Attorney General, whether they're Republican or Democrat, will stand up and make sure that the next president doesn't exceed the legal authority of the role of president. So we should all kind of be rest assured that the systems of government are strong. We've got a lot of checks and balances, and regardless of how people might feel about the next administration, they should at least be confident in the systems of government.
Attorney General, on a regular basis, it seems like I'm asking you a similar question, and that is about this overreach of the federal government. You've been pretty consistent in both, standing by the laws of Indiana, but I think even in your own more personal comments, you've made it clear that you wanted to make sure that states had their own rights and that the federal government perhaps had been going a little bit too far in recent years. Does Donald Trump hold those similar views? Are you looking for some hope out of that?
Well, I think there's a lot of unknowns about what a Trump presidency brings. I don't know that he's been as consistent in some of the policy applications. I've talked to Governor Pence, now Vice Presidential-elect Pence, about the views of Donald Trump in terms of states' rights and our authority as sovereign states, and the proper role of the federal government. I think those are very important things to understand, and quite frankly, we just simply don't know. But regardless of how he views these things, again, there's checks and balances. I think the Congress really needs to step up and do their job. They've been dysfunctional for at least the last 6 years. So I think it's a challenge to Congress to perform their proper roles of the checks and balances and kind of their proper role of legislating, but also to the states and the different parts of our government need to all stand kind of in our proper roles, and the checks and balances protect not just states, but each of us as individuals and our liberty.
You know what? Typically we go through policy stuff and so forth, but I'm going to veer off. You're down there. A lot of people know your voice and know you personally up here, so let's just get some of your objective. You're going to be gone in a month and a half or so, so let's open it up a little bit. Tell us about Eric Holcomb.
I've known Eric only through the political world. He's a strong conservative, so I know he kind of grew up with members of Congress who were conservative. He served with Governor Daniels, and now as lieutenant governor. Most recently, he was party chairman. So I think I always, not to give my advice over the radio, but what I always tell people is that regardless of the political side of the role of getting elected, you have to overcome that and really reach out and make sure that people realize that you're the governor for everybody. You're the elected official that puts away the political and really begins to lead, and that requires reaching out to both parties and people of all views. If nobody's willing to follow you, it's hard to be a good leader. So you have to put aside more of that partisan role. Frankly, I'm proud to be a Republican, but I hope the people of the region who may be a little more Democratic in their leanings feel like I've served them equally. It's not that I just served a Republican constituent. It was everybody to the best of my skill and ability, and that's the advice I would give Governor-elect Holcomb.
Mike Pence, whom you have worked with closely for many years, is a heartbeat away from the presidency. When I say that, how does that make you feel?
Well, you'll remember that I served with Senator Quayle, and I was on his campaign in '88 when it was the Bush-Quayle ticket. He ended up getting elected, and he was the vice president-elect. I served on his transition team. I served with him in the White House for 3 years. So, I think Governor Pence brings a lot of skill and ability, but frankly, a lot of it depends on what a President Trump delegates to the vice president. So Quayle and Bush had a certain relationship. I think they recognized the strengths and weaknesses of both. So it really depends on the president and what he assigns to the vice president. It's not like you can make up your own authority as vice president. You serve literally a heartbeat away, but it's more at the pleasure of, I'll say, the direction of the president, what he assigns Governor Pence, now Vice President-elect Pence. So, but I'm confident that he'll rise to the occasion. He's a fine man, and I think he's strong character, and maybe he'll give good advice in areas where a President Trump may not, let's say, fully appreciate the role of states and, let's say, a little more conservative, consistent view.
Attorney General Gregg Zeller is on the phone right now calling in from the Indianapolis area. Attorney General, where from here? Where from here in a general sense in the state of Indiana, a complete Republican sweep at the highest levels, a supermajority in the state legislature. What do you hope for out of Indiana?
Well, we've had some strong leadership. There's been, a lot of issues about education, about our, developing a strong area for businesses to grow. So I think everybody is on the same page in terms of what our goals are. But I do think, and again, I've said this publicly, and I say it to my clients in the legislature, the time to have kind of the supermajority rule makes it hard to lead everybody. So I do think more of and the only time it's appropriate about talking about bipartisan is within that legislative process. The governor or the attorney general, none of us, we're nonpartisan once we're elected. But I think there's a unique challenge to the legislature to reach across the party divide, build a coalition, a little bit of give and take so that when we do have a new statute, it brings the best of both ideas and both perspectives, but it's also easier to lead when both the Republicans and the Democrats have supported a bill. We lose track of the fact that you can pass a bill with only one party. It's hard to lead when it's seen as a political partisan bill. So I do hope that they rise to that challenge. I'm hoping not to go too far away, so if anybody needs a good lawyer, I'm still going to be around.
Attorney General Gregg Zeller, typically I just talk to you, but we actually have a guy who wants to talk to you right now. And Ryan's going to try to bring this on. If you can't hear it, you let us know, but it's going to be John from East Chicago. John, you are on with the Attorney General. You can't talk to him directly, but he can hear you. So go ahead.
Good morning, Jed, and thank you very much. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a deep appreciation to the Attorney General. He's come on your airwaves, no matter what the subject is, and has always spoke with candor and professionalism, and he's going to be missed. And I just wanted to say thank you, sir, for your years of service. Best of luck in your future endeavors, and I hope you stick around because there aren't too many legit people like yourself that are just honest as the day is long, and it's been an honor listening to you, sir.
All right, I'm going to go to him. Thanks a lot, John. Talk to you. Ryan, now let's go back to Attorney General. What do you say to that, Attorney General?
Well, when somebody pays you a compliment, sometimes it's best not to respond. You just kind of accept it for what it is. And I'll at least say that it makes me feel good that people recognize that I was sworn to do the best of my skill and ability. I've tried to build a strong office around me and proud of the men and women who serve as deputies in the office. So it feels good to, 16 years. I hope it's a full measure of service and people feel like I've done my part, and look forward to supporting all the people who come next and lead our state and protect us as citizens. And so I know it makes me feel good, and I'm still living in the warm glow of my prediction of the Cubs that you'll remember. So sorry I didn't call in and live a few of the days that you all got to talk about the Cubs, but no, it's a good feeling. But before anybody feels too sorry for me leaving, I really feel like this is a great time for me to leave the political arena. I never really felt all that comfortable in politics. I'm proud to be a Republican, but I've never really got the axe in my hand to fight the Democrats. It's something that I pride myself in focusing on public service, and I hope my 16 years of service is a full measure for the people of Indiana.
Let's end it right there. Attorney General Gregg Zeller, thanks for being so candid today.
All right. Good talking to you, Jed.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you. 728 in the Calumet region. I will be right back. You want to watch me on Facebook.com/WJOB 1230, and you can do the same thing on YouTube as of yesterday. So we just keep expanding it because that's what we do here. It's 93 years of AM, but it's really one of the most advanced technological radio stations in America.
Ogren Insurance has been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home,
auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, ogreninsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
In this great country, you have the freedom to wash your car wherever you choose, and we are thankful you choose Easy Clean Car Wash. If you are a veteran or serve in any branch of the military, Easy Clean Car Wash will offer you an ultimate wash for free on Veterans Day, November 11th. It's our way of showing you how much we appreciate your service. No coupon necessary, valid for veterans and military personnel only with identification. Rain checks are not available. Easy Clean Car Wash, located in Highland, Lansing, and Cherville.
Ogren Insurance has been serving the area since 1947 and provides insurance for life, home, auto, business, and more. If you're looking for one-on-one service, the best rates, knowledge, and experience, Ogren Insurance is your agency. Our number one goal is to provide you with the coverage you need at the most competitive price. To learn about the insurance solutions and services we offer in Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or see our website, ogreninsurance.com. Ogren Insurance, 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond. Accidents happen. Be protected with Ogren Insurance.
Napleton River Oaks Honda has been serving Northwest Indiana for generations and is still going strong today. Now we're extending Napleton employee pricing to you, our neighbors. Check out riveroakshonda.com during the Happy Honda Day sale event. Plus, local military, police, and firefighters get an additional $1,000. Napleton River Oaks Honda, right off 94 on Torrance.
Napleton, second to none since 1931.
On select models, excludes Honda Fit, CRZ, HRV, and Insight. $1,000 dealer discount, service verification required.
Mayor Tom McDermott Jr. and the City of Hammond celebrate its third annual Veteran Appreciation Parade on Saturday, November 12th at 10 a.m. The parade route travels from Alcott Avenue down 173rd Street and ends at the Hessville Park Veteran Memorial. Some of the parade participants include members of the local American Legions and VFW posts, musical entertainment from area high school bands, antique military vehicles, and the Lima Lima flight team. A short program will immediately follow the parade at the Hessville Park Veteran Memorial at 173rd Street and Kennedy Avenue. That evening, join us at the Hammond Civic Center where region favorites The Dancing Noodles and M&R Rush will perform for free to veterans. Tickets for everyone else are $10 cash or $12 by credit card at the Hammond Civic Center box office or online at universe.com. For more information on the parade, sponsoring, or participating, contact the Hammond Park Department at 853-6378 or visit gohammond.com.
It's Region After Dark right here with your host, Rick Kubik, weeknights at 10 p.m. on WJOB AM 1230. It's dark, but it's not scary.
Everybody listen, all you morning people, listen to Gino tomorrow. I listen to Gino all the time, actually.
Exactly. Thanks a lot. Talk to you.
Bye-bye.
And if you're driving around at noontime and you just want to feel good about being a region rat, Gino's on from noon to 1, and he always brings it.
This is Congressman Pete Visklowski, and you are listening to WJOB 1230 AM and 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana.
Nice diction. Congressman Pete Visklowski has some nice diction. It's 7:33 in the Calumet region. I'm Jim Dedelow, host of JED in the region. You can catch us, of course, on AM 1230. Also on 104.7 FM. Also streaming live on the TuneIn app, which we've been accepted to stream live onto. And also on Facebook and on YouTube by just typing in WJOB 1230. So you can also go to WJOB1230.com and find all this crap. And a high of 57 today, partly sunny and pleasant. And tomorrow, sunny and breezy, and a high of 62. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, high in the low 50s. But sunny. So sun. And it's sunny right now as it is 43 degrees in Highland, 43 in Hambone, and 43 in Scaraville, 43 in Corn Point, and 43 in Lowell, Alabama. It's also 48 degrees in East Chicago And weather is brought to you by Laborers Local 41. Traffic brought to you by Napleton River Oaks Honda, proudly serving Northwest Indiana with superior customer service. Visit them right off 94 on Torrance Avenue in Lansing or online at riveroakshonda.com. And 294 around the city is still tight from before Cicero all the way up to Bridgeview, about, I don't know, right before Stevenson. There was an earlier accident, and this is still, the residuals are still hanging around. 80 going east and west. Looks pretty good. The Bishop Fode and the Dan Ryan, those look all right. Pretty good, pretty neat. All right. Let's do it together. All right. Pretty good, pretty neat. All right. Pretty good, pretty neat. All right. And then you have the Y-Scan, the Roll Toad, and the Borman Academy Expressway and I-65 US 30 and Klein Avenue. Those are all moving along pretty well. As if you are watching, can you go to this camera over here? I know you guys are busy. Can you go to this one over here? If you are watching on Facebook Live, you can see that there is a nice glow out to the east in the sky, and it's really kind of nice out right now. So get out, take a big whiff of fresh air, and take a bite of your Dunkin' Donuts muffin that somebody just put in front of me here. And before we go anywhere else, I'm going to sing a song, which I want to do from time to time. And this song is going to be brought to you by Centrum Silver Multivitamins. Plus up your day with Centrum Silver Multivitamins, upgraded with more vitamin D3. It's a healthy addition you can feel good about. And it's a song that when I would wake up for most of my youth, and my brothers and my sisters would wake up, and my mom, who's been dead for 30 years almost, would play in the morning. And I can't find it on the internet, but I can remember it word for word. And it goes like this. I hope you have a very happy birthday. I hope that all your fondest dreams come true. And by the way, I'd just like to say happy birthday to you. That, of course, is for my lovely bride. Hit her up on Facebook with a happy birthday message of Alexis Vasquez Dedelow, attorney at law. And let's move on here. Now you have Friend of the Devil stuck in my head. Would you like to hear some of that too? You know what? I'm going to stay away from that. Just keep that weirdo, kind of creepy little birthday song in your head for a while. I got so much stuff on the plate right now. I don't know what to do, but I'm going to take your phone calls because you're the most important thing in our lives right now. Let's go to Deb Maga. Deb Maga? What's that mean?
Maga, my son called me and woke me up more than once yesterday. MAGA.
Why?
I said, what is this? Make America great again.
Oh, MAGA.
MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. He kept yelling. I'm going, what's going on? What happened? And, I went out at 2-something in the morning. I hung my flag, and I yelled victory. And nobody else was blowing firecrackers or doing anything, but a raccoon was out, and I may have disturbed him. And then I heard some coyotes howling, so we were the only ones up in the neighborhood. And I wanted to ask you, Chuck was on Ron's show yesterday, and he posted up that video about that Gary Church. Have you seen it?
No.
And the busing and the money and... Okay, check it out.
Are you in the bathroom?
No.
What's that sound of water in the background?
That was in the kitchen.
Okay, you weren't in the bathroom.
No, sir.
Because once in a while, Mad Mac will call, and then I'll hear the toilet flush, and I feel like just sticking my hand on my throat and just expelling all that's in there because it makes me thick to think about. You know what I mean?
Mad Mac, I was behind him, and MX, and, Jim, over the years we've had Pat Buchanan, Ross Perot, Rand Paul, all shot down. Usually they got him with a race card or some other BS. They could not do it this time, okay? America has been needing this since Ross Perot. Why do you think we're in such a bad condition? And I'm glad these the union members, I think many of them were going to back Pat Buchanan years back, but many of them have finally come around because usually until it affects you and you do not have a job because of no manufacturing or other reasons, you just keep voting the same way. So it was time, overdue, and I think everyone in this country is going to be much better off.
Hey, how about all
MAGA!
MAGA? Is MAGA or MAGA?
I don't know. It was.
What do you
it
want,
was 3
MAGA?
in the morning.
Hey,
I'm still running on my 2 cups of coffee, though. I will make it.
what about this race card you're talking about? What did you mean by that?
Well, they did that to Buchanan, and that Southern Poverty Law Firm comes out, and they did it to Ron Paul, and he's in with what was it back then? The militias or the KKK, or it's the same thing. They do it every time to anyone who is against the establishment, and everyone thinks that Donald Trump is not for trade. He's for bad trade deals. Okay, we're going to have some good deals, like he said. We're still going to trade with other countries. It's just going to be more fair to the American people.
There it is. Thanks a lot, Deb.
Take care.
Talk to you. Let's go to Lori on line 3. How you doing, Lori?
Wonderful, Jed. Good morning. How are you? It's been a while. I haven't called in.
Yeah, where you been?
Well, just out and about and, bumming around, going to Big Frank's sausage and the usual stuff.
So, what do you think about Trump winning and Holcomb winning and the Republicans just kind of swiping the table clean?
That was really something. I'm shocked, kind of just the overwhelming amount of people that came out to vote even. It was really something. And even what really surprised me is poor Jerry Shube, because I know Jerry and stuff. So, but I guess it just maybe people were sending a message that they wanted change or something. So.
What do you think about the big turnout yesterday? That was kind of crazy, huh?
It was because, I did vote early and everything. I live in Maryville, but I went to Hobart to vote. Sometimes I go to Wicker Park and vote early, but I'm glad I voted early. I didn't want to wait in lines like that, but it was really something. And people were, adamant to vote if they wanted to wait in a line that long for a couple hours. So
57% of registered voters voted.
Wonderful. So that's good. I'm glad because that's one thing that we have is, that privilege to vote, and a lot of people take that for granted, and they shouldn't do that.
I got spanked by my wife last night, not literally, as it was 5 o'clock and I had not gotten around to voting.
Oh, my goodness.
And I had to make a choice of going to my niece's JV basketball game, Portage versus Munster, or going to vote because we thought it would be such a long line. I went at about 5:20 last night. I voted in 10 minutes and made her game and everything. So
very good.
I think it was early on that it was real crowded. Hey, Lori, good to hear your voice, okay?
And, happy birthday, Alexis. That's what I wanted to tell you. Happy birthday to her. Hope she's going to have a wonderful day, even if she's in court and stuff. And also Marissa McDermott's birthday's today, too, as well.
Is it really?
Yes.
Are you sure? Can you check that out on Facebook, Ryan? We need a fact check on this. But
okay,
I will.
Go ahead,
we will.
Alexis, Marissa, and also Matthew Markham. There's like 3 or 4 people on my Facebook. Their birthdays today, and Pat Renwick. So there's like 4 people.
You know what? And it's also Charles Manson's birthday, right?
Oh my goodness!
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right.
Yeah.
I'll see you. Bye. See you.
Hey, Jen, I got to tell you one thing, and I'll let you go. Okay? Did anybody ever try to sell you a Cadillac before?
No.
A Cadillac. Okay, because I just want to let you know that do never. Why would you want to buy a Cadillac when you drive a Lexus? I thought of that, and I was just thinking, oh, my goodness, I should be writing for somebody. Isn't that wonderful? So tell your lovely wife that for her birthday. Say, honey, I will never drive a Cadillac in our marriage ever, because why should I when I have a Lexus?
Well, you know what? There's a little bit of undertones to that, and I want to remind you that my nieces and nephews are all listening right now. But thank you. Talk to you. 219-845-1100.
And it's like, wow, I was picking off state after state, and it's like, if he wins, Michigan, and I forget what it was, this is going to be interesting. It's going to go down to it. So, and it did. Excuse me. So, yeah, I mean, I have made no bones about it. I am a Trump supporter. I feel, I did hear early this morning, and she takes a big paintbrush and painted over 50 million people and called them racist. I think that's kind of harsh. That's pushing it a little bit, but
I think part of it is she's going for Trump as the head racist in charge. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. You know, I guess she has her own personal reasons for that. I don't have any, basis to believe that to be true. But I sure as heck hope not. I mean, my goodness, I don't think people put their faith in him because he was a racist. That's not at all what people were saying.
Why did people put their faith in Donald Trump?
Because they're looking for change. They're looking not to get away from the status quo. The status quo is not working. Every politician who's gotten in the office in the last, I don't know how many years, nothing seems to be getting better. All the paper and all the numbers point that it's not so bad, but you look around the region, it's not so good. And people want change. They want something to be able to hang their hat on. They want to be able to make a living, put food on the table. It's hard. I don't know.
I can hear some harsh in your voice.
It is hard, and I worry about generations to come. If we continue down this path, are we going to have jobs enough for the kids who are coming out of college? It's been a problem for many years now. Kids getting out of college, they got nowhere to go. They got these great degrees, and they've got nothing to do with it. They've got nowhere to go to make a decent living and take care of themselves. It's very, very sad. So I hope she gets over it. I hope that she can, get behind it. I know she made some very harsh comments this morning, very inflammatory, and I don't know. I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't know what she's basing it on.
Her comment originally, the most inflammatory comment that Verley's made since this whole thing started, is that you no longer need to put a Confederate flag on your house. You can just put a Donald Trump sign in your yard. And that's got some pretty deep implications to that comment.
Yes, it does. And I resent it. I don't have a Trump pen sign in my yard, but if I did, it doesn't make me a racist. I'm not a racist. And I resent somebody just saying that symbol makes you a racist. How does that symbol make me a racist? I'm looking for change. It hasn't happened with the current administration, and and Hillary just looked like more of the same.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Peggy.
Thanks.
Talk to you. 219-845-1100. And I do want to point out a couple of numbers here, first of all. The governor of the state, Gregg, got 64% out of Lake County. And got about 64, maybe just about a 63,000 plurality. I think they were looking for over 70 and closer to 70 plurality, 70%. Did not get that out of Lake County. Also, Attorney General Lorenzo Arredondo did get about 65% of the vote out of Lake County, but the longtime judge here did not win his race. And I do have a question for Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott. Mayor, is it your wife's birthday today also?
Yes, it is. Happy birthday, Marissa. I'm not going to say the number, but Marissa and Alexis share the same birthday, along with Matt Markham and everybody else Lori mentioned. So,
hey, I sang happy birthday to my wife. I'm fairly certain that it's.
I didn't sing happy birthday to Marissa.
Hey, you guys
sang
both
it last night in front of hundreds of people.
You guys both married up.
There you go. I got that. Don't you think it would be appropriate right now for you to sing to her? Or no. What do you think? Is that too silly?
I'm just not it's funny. I'm not in a singing mood today. I mean, there's a lot of people that are calling up and they want to sing. I'm not one of them today, Jim. No offense. And I'm a singer too.
Hey, let's talk about this, man. Other than maybe Mara winning a contested race, just about all the contested races went against your party. How do you feel this morning?
Well, I mean, I'm an American, so I'm going to obviously accept the results, and I hope that Donald Trump does a good job as president. I really do. I don't want the country to fall apart, and people are scared. People on my side of the fence are scared. People on Andy Quinnell's side of the fence are happy, but I hope he does a good job because we need it, and the citizens spoke loud and clear. And I had a feeling yesterday, if you'll notice on my social media, I posted tsunami warning flags because all these people showing up to vote, and usually when people show up in mass, they're usually showing up because they're angry, and I think that was the case yesterday.
Anger,
just frustration with America, and I'm frustrated too. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't blame one person. I blame the whole system. I mean, the fact is Congress is dysfunctional and they weren't working with the president, and that filters down. I mean, here at the State House, it works the same way. The Republican supermajorities don't care about us, Jim. They don't care about, Eric Holcomb. He doesn't care about Lake County. I mean, I hate to break it to people, but this guy is not going to be pro Lake County. It's going to be more of the same in Indiana, which is ignoring us and ignoring people like Mark Candelaria Reardon. And, I hope I'm wrong, but I've seen how it works under Republican leadership and supermajorities in the House. I've seen how it works, and what it is Northwest Indiana does not matter. It's,
Let's look at a couple of these races. Evan Bayh was at one time a close confidant of yours, I understand. I don't know if that's the case anymore, but
not really.
Not really, and you've made that clear.
Seriously, Evan, I respect Evan, but Evan, when he left us in 2010 and left us high and dry, we got trounced in the 2010 elections. And I'll be honest with you, and I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way. I was mad at Evan, and I still am to a certain extent, because I feel like a good leader would have marched forward with his army, and if we're going to get beat, we get beat with our leader out in front. I felt like he bailed on us in 2010, and I was loud and clear about that, and I've never shied away from that. I tried not to talk that way too much over the last couple of months, but I tell you, he had no excitement within his own party. That was part of Evan's problem, is even Democrats were having trouble rallying behind
Those ads were devastating against him. The Republican, I was listening to him as I was driving around. Devastating about him not living in the state one night in one full year. And I know Dan Coates did the same thing, where he left, he went and made millions. But the Democratic Party in 10 could not get that message out. They either didn't know how to do it or didn't have the money, or it didn't resonate. But those, Evan leaving like he did and then coming back, some of the Democrats, like you said, felt that way. And then when those ads came out,
on that, that's the truth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look,
there was
everyone knew that.
Not for John Gregg. There was an enthusiasm gap in the Democratic Party for Evan.
But here's the other thing.
Okay, hold on a second. Before we get into that, Kuz, you and I are going to discuss these things. Let's get the mayor. Let's switch to John Gregg. He got pretty beaten up. I mean, he got beat up bad statewide, and the polls were showing him ahead. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what. I called my dad last night, and I said something I hate saying to him. I said, Dad, you were dead right about everything. My dad called this thing. He told me a month ago. And I'm like, Dad, look at the polls. Like, how could you say Donald Trump's going to be president? He said, Tom, the people who are going to show up and vote for Donald Trump aren't getting called by pollsters because they're not voters. These are people that are first-time voters, infrequent voters, and they're not reliable enough voters consistently for a pollster to call them. And you cannot, if you're going to rely on traditional polling methods, which we have to, you're not going to catch the tidal waves. And that's what we had yesterday, was a tidal wave.
And your father lives in Crown Point. I walked Crown Point with a friend last Saturday, and I had the same inclination. There were people raking their leaves. We were talking to them, and talk about people not wanting to put signs up. There was a large number of Trump signs in Crown Point, and they were making it abundantly clear that they were coming out and they were sending a message. So I knew at that point, I talked to my buddy. I go, man, I'll tell you what. I said, the Democratic Party's in trouble here. I got this feeling. And you could just feel the groundswell, and that's what happens when you have tidal waves. People that don't feel the groundswell are people that hang around with people all in the same circle.
Yep.
And so everyone in the circle is telling everyone everyone's okay. You have to get out of that circle and get up and down the streets and get a feeling for what's happening. And hold
on, Dave. Let's get to that once we get the mayor off. I got one more thing I want to get to the mayor. Sure. Mayor, I've pointed out here, and I'm not altogether sure some people are real happy about me pointing this out, but you and John Buncich visibly not getting along, and did that affect the turnout here in Lake County?
No, and I'm not going to blame John Buncich for this. It has nothing to do with John. John did his job. The Lake County Democrats did their job. We did. Quite frankly, 4 years ago when I was chairman and things were clicking, I gave Senator Joe Donnelly about 70,000 votes, plurality out of Lake County, and Buncich gave John Gregg 65,000. I mean, it's not that much of a drop-off, so nobody could look at Lake County and say we didn't do our job. We did, and that includes John Buncich and the Lake County Democrats, and that's a fact, and I'm not going to hear any different about that.
You know what? With all due respect, you gave Joe Donnelly 70%, and this time around, Evan Bayh got 61%. And
Well,
that is a huge
Evan
drop.
Bayh, I agree with you, Jim, but Evan Bayh has his own issues. Like, the thing is, honestly, if you would have asked me yesterday, and if I would have been honest, which is hard to be because I don't want to feel like I'm letting my friends down, but I would have told you I thought Evan Bayh was going to lose and John Gregg was going to win. Going in yesterday, I thought Evan Bayh was going to lose, and I think probably Kuziak would probably tell you the same thing.
Yeah, but Tom, the thing that hurt is when Hillary Clinton gave away the state of Indiana. You can't think that if you're not getting anything at the top of the ticket and you have polls that are saying 11% for Donald Trump, how are you then going to extrapolate that someone's going to go into the booth and go for Donald Trump and split the ticket and then go for John Gregg? It's just not. It's just math. Math is not going to work that way.
You know what a big point in the campaign was, I thought, and Marissa was talking about this last night, it was when the Obamacare premiums came out a couple weeks ago, and they were like doubled.
There's no question about it. That's an enormous...
Dude, that was huge, because, like, first off, anybody that knows anything about being a politician, you don't have bad news come out 2 weeks before the election. It's just not the way you do business, and whoever made that decision really, really messed up Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton was toxic. And anybody that was associated with Hillary Clinton's party, especially in Indiana, was dead on arrival. And John Gregg ran one of the best campaigns I've ever seen a governor run. Him and Christina Hale did it the right way. They did everything they were supposed to. They said everything they're supposed to. They were, quite frankly, they're the better two candidates, and it didn't matter because Hillary Clinton was on the top of the ballot.
All right, Mayor, I got a final one for you, okay?
Sure.
And I've made this comparison before here on the air, that you and Donald Trump have a similar style. The content is completely different in a lot of cases.
Thank you.
But
I appreciate bluntness, and I appreciate that about Donald Trump.
And your style, and quite frankly, your being a Democrat from Lake County probably hasn't helped. But quite frankly, you really haven't been accepted on a statewide level. Do you think with the acceptance of Donald Trump's blunt style, the McDermott Trump style, do you think that there might be an opening for you on a statewide basis here?
There's an opening, but the question is, though, Jim, I mean, this is something I'm going to have to grapple with for the next year or so, is this state a hostile place for a Democrat? Because
the answer is yes. Are you kidding me?
John Gregg just ran the perfect campaign. John Gregg ran the perfect campaign. He had everybody that was supporting him. He had all the right people. He was doing all the right things. He's smart. He's known. Christina Hale's from the region. They did everything that they were supposed to do, and they got destroyed. So, you have to take a step back and say, how much of that was Hillary Clinton, and how much of that was because Hoosiers are just not really open-minded to a Democratic governor? That's the question I have to come to grips with.
Well, I mean, obviously, they haven't accepted you on any sort of statewide ticket, and I appreciate the answer. It's a little hard to concentrate right now because Mad Mac, if you were to stick your head out and walk around the corner, Mad Mac is riding along Indianapolis Boulevard with a Trump flag in and around the studio here. So
taped on a hockey stick.
I'll get the Hammond PD there.
All right, you get the Hammond PD. Mayor, thanks for calling in and your analysis. Talk to you. This is ridiculous, but hi, Mad Mac. Are you going to be okay out there? What's going on?
I couldn't be any better, Jimmy Dedelow.
You better be.
Jimmy, you want to know why you didn't see this tidal wave coming?
Oh, but I'm not saying I didn't see it coming.
Because you couldn't get your mind out of Hammond.
Stop.
It's not just Hammond.
Stop.
There are a group of people called Americans who have had enough.
What do you mean by had enough? Talk to me.
They've had enough of having people in the government take their money from them.
I agree with that.
Tax them out of oblivion. To throw regulations on top of town after town after town that does nothing but employ a bunch of losers in the EPA. How Tom McDermott, I told him this yesterday, how he could possibly vote for Hillary Clinton was beyond me. I'm like, she's going to wipe your town out, dude. She's going to literally wipe your town out with more regulations.
Hey, Mad Mac, if I was the Munster or the Hammond Sanitary District, I would be making a call to the new regime and saying, let's sit down and talk about what we can do for a long-term solution to our problem, because we cannot double our rate right now in the situation that we're in. And
it has nothing to do with doubling the rate. They tried to do this down in Evansville and down by Louisville. The EPA issued results of what I think the total project was $350 million. Do you know what the percentage change in the water clarity was? 0.000 and then like a 2 and a 3. But they were going to do this project because it employed people in the government. That's it.
Hey, man, Mac. Let's not go into sewer wars right now. But I do want to get your comment on this. The show opened today with Verley's comment, which he said many times here on WJOB AM 1230 and 104.7 in Hammond, Indiana. There's your legal ID. Her comment was, you no longer need to put...
Hey, Jimmy, are you going to at least give me credit for doing 3 things at once? Riding a bike, holding a flag, and talking to you on the phone?
And if you guys are watching on Facebook Live, I swear to God, he just ran behind the camera, and you could see it. It's pretty funny. Hey,
that was a monkey trick, huh?
And we know you've done 3 things at one time before, and I can't tell you what one of those are.
Hey, listen, Mad Mac, you know Verley's comment about a Confederate flag. So you are riding up and down Indianapolis Boulevard, back and forth in front of the camera here.
The horns are beeping.
Is that a Trump flag or is that a Confederate flag?
Well, to Verley, it's probably something. It probably references slavery or something. And I want to actually personally thank Verley for rallying the troops in Northwest Indiana to come out and wipe the Democrats out and all their bad habits and all their stealing. I also want to thank Barack Obama for being just a total blank that he is, and also Hillary for stealing virtually everything that wasn't secured in the White House and in the State Department. And I hope she's happy with that $250 billion she's got.
Oh, they'll be okay. The Clintons will be okay.
Hey, listen, Man Mac, thanks for your call.
They're going to not ride away into the sunset, bro. They're going to be the most unhappy couple on planet Earth that are probably going to be living about 100 miles apart from each other, thank God, though.
Hey, we're going to let you go. We're a little worried about your safety. Thanks a lot. Dave Kuziak, your general comments. You know what? Let's take Lefty and Dan, and then I'm going to hand it over to you. You know what, Kuz? This is like when me and my brother Brian are on the same basketball team.
There's not enough basketballs, that's for sure. I've never played basketball with a Dedelow that doesn't like to shoot, and even the Hammond Dedelows who weren't very good shooters, but I would say the Munster Dedelows were better shooters, but they all had one thing in common if their last name's Dedelow. Once they get the ball, they're going to let it fly. They're going to shoot their way out of a bad night.
And it's similar when Kuz and I are in here. There just ain't enough microphones. So we're gonna talk for a little bit, and then Kuz is gonna go on I'm gonna go on his way, and Kuz is gonna do it. I heard you went a little Sam Kinison last night, and we're gonna talk about that. But let's see what Lefty has to say. Hi, Lefty. How are you?
Did I tell you was gonna start from the top?
You did.
All right then. Now for Verley, when she drives to work on 294. When she gets to Worth over there, that big water tower that says Worth, I want her to look at the other side of the expressway where she sees that big blue billboard sign that says the state of Indiana, a state with a balanced budget. And who did Donald Trump pick to be his vice president? Somebody that's running a state with a balanced budget. Maybe that's what he wants somebody to do to help him run this country.
You know, that turned the race around when he really picked Pence. Just think about what would happen if he would have picked Christie a week before Christie's top aides get they get convicted, not indicted, for that Bridgegate. He picked what they needed, and it was the largest evangelical vote in the history of elections, and he went and picked the number one poster child for evangelicals, Mike Pence. You got to give him credit. He picked the right guy.
Kim says, I wonder who he's going to pick. I said, it's going to be Mike Pence. Oh, no, it's not. And I told her, it's Mike Pence. She would not believe me.
Hey, so did you take that Confederate flag down and put up a Trump-Pence flag or not?
You know what? Don't even start with that. Okay? I don't know who could say something like that if you put a sign up for him that's like putting up a Confederate flag. She could say anybody that votes for Trump is racist. Well, anybody that didn't vote for him, maybe they're racist too.
Hey, Jim, I could tell you, I know Johnny for a long time. He's an equal opportunity offender. He'll offend everybody of all races.
Hey, have you offended any Polacks or Greeks or Italians yet today, or is it too early?
Well, I don't pick and choose. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You're right, you're right.
All right, man. I got to go. I'll see you. Last phone call, and you're it, Dan. What are you doing?
Hey, Dan. Hey, Jed and Coos. How you doing?
What up, Dan? Squirrel. Squirrel.
Hey, Dan, who do you think's calling Kuziak right now? But anyways, go ahead, Dan.
Business.
I'm a beautiful loser. Trump got in there. God bless him, I guess. What you want to change, you're going to get change. I hope it's for the best. But that's all I got to say. Congratulations, Trump. Just hope he don't turn into a fascist, and that's about it.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Talk to you. He's a beautiful loser. Here's a winner right here. We got a wiener at the end here. Coos, by the way, before we talk about that, I heard you went Sam Kinison on the end of the show last night.
I think that we just pick on one organization or one community. We don't. And I heard earlier the talk that, listen, they're not giving, it's not people giving me numbers, Jim. They're giving the listening audience numbers, okay? So it's not like someone's doing me a favor or not. And I heard Andy. Andy's a friend of mine. Someone from Munster could have called and given us numbers off the machine. That's all that we were asking for, okay? That's all we needed. And when Highland does it in 20 minutes and Hammond does it in 20 minutes, all you have to say is, here's the numbers that I have, and these are the machine numbers. That's all you need to say. And then we will say, here's the numbers. These are the machine numbers. And so, I love my town. I've been living in Munster for a really long time. But much like when people in this school situation happen, you can't sit there and say that it's not your fault when it's your fault. And when Jamie called in earlier and he said, this is typical Munster, you can never say that you've made a mistake. You just need to say you didn't do it as good as you should have. It's as simple as that. People are okay with that. There's times you're not on your game. We did the best we could. It wasn't good enough. We dropped the ball. People give you respect for that. When you keep pointing and it's everyone else's fault, but then you're the one, when you want numbers and you're screaming at Gary and saying they're the worst thing in the world, you can't have it both ways. That's the only point I'm getting to, Matt.
We got a winner from Munster today, and that is Matt Reardon. Your wife's going back to Indianapolis. Matt, congratulations.
Thank you. It was a good evening and a really good to have the support of the 12th District. I know Mar worked very hard at it. And in the face of the way Indiana looked, not so hot for Democrats, Mar did a great job and just really speaks to the diverse thought views in the 12th District. They're not locked
What's the numbers?
They're not what? Yeah.
No. I'm not talking about the race. What's the numbers in the House?
I believe they picked up 3 seats.
So what's it going to be?
Still supermajority. They needed 6. And you're back.
So in other words, the checks can just get sent to the Democrats. They don't even need to drive down.
If that's what they choose to do. I think they learned their lesson with Pat
the
Bauer.
trip to Illinois.
With Pat Bauer, the gift that keeps on giving, the campaign item that is used repeatedly, wholeheartedly, and vehemently.
Hey, listen, I want to thank both of you guys for some amazing coverage, both on AM 1230 and 104.7, also streaming live. I know our numbers were big on streaming the audio live, but last night you guys had a lot of people watching you guys. You two, Matt Reardon and Dave Kuziak, along with Kevin Pastrick and Dan Durnell. And Dan Durnell had the Lake County Republican Party, so it was really the place to be. There's people watching all night long and listening all night long, and you guys really make us proud. I mean, Alexis and I just stopped in mainly because Ray Garcia's food was here, but we know that some professionals are running it, and you guys give top-of-the-line local radio election coverage. So and now it's local video election coverage also.
Well, we had who's our producer?
Tony
Ponick.
That was very helpful.
Absolutely.
To have somebody
enormously helpful
to help us be able to get the numbers. And I will say, Dave, while you brought that up, Dan Durnell did call me when I was on my way to go meet with my family and Mara and a couple other the candidates, and told me the numbers. He was really frustrated as well.
Hey, I'm not.
He had to go himself to the county. So imagine if you're the chairman, you're like
Jim, the producer.
What? Wait a minute. Why am I having to go to the county to find out who won Reardon, Fine, or Vandenberg, Olthoff, or Schub and Tippy? Why am I? So he seemed very frustrated with the process.
So we have a producer, okay? So every single break, Tony is coming up to me like he should because he's a producer, and he's saying, Munster keeps calling. Residents from Munster keep calling. They want the Munster numbers. So that's what you have to call for, okay? When the listening audience, which was you last night, the listening audience was asking for something we couldn't give, we had to point it out. And so for Andy, again, who's a friend of mine, if you're telling me you didn't call in because it wasn't your responsibility, which it wasn't, and Andy did say, I'm going to be very busy. You mean to tell me that no one in your organization can call your chairperson of your entire party and give them numbers?
Well, there's a vice chair and there's a
That's what I'm saying. I've been at these things before. I've run these things before. When the tape comes out, the reason that Highland and Munster, or the reason that Highland and Hammond get those numbers so quickly is they have designated areas where when you come and bring that tape in, you say, hey, here's my tape. Write down these numbers. It's not that difficult.
Hey, I'm going to get out of here, guys, and I want you to keep going on. Kuziak Construction buys his time coming up. And once again, I just want to thank you guys. Thanks also to Ray Garcia for catering this. That was some amazing stuff last night, man. It made it a lot easier.
So I'm going to do a Jim Dedelow because you talk about bodily secretions more than anyone in the history of radio. So we get the queso fundido, and I have about 4 tacos. And I said, one of 2 things is going to happen. I'm not going to make it through the show, or I'm not going to go for 2 days. You figure out which one happened at about 8:15 last night.
There's an extended commercial break, and Kevin and I had a chat about some other things while Dave was in.
Well, let me tell you what. When I walked in here after you guys ate, you guys had eaten already. It already kind of stunk in here. So you had 4 dudes in here just talking the whole time.
And eating tacos.
And eating tacos. And just whatever.
Oh.
All right, guys, I'm out. Kuziak and Reardon are in. And, thanks a lot to Rick Baltonsberger at Misprint and our many other sponsors that have made this what it is. But most of all, thanks to you for listening. I'm out. 1 million cups is coming up. What? And once again, happy birthday to my bride of 25 years today. I'll see you guys.
Misprint has been the region's best source for
coverage after the next day or whatever it is. I don't know what time it is.
Coverage?
I don't know what time it is. I've been here in the morning, yesterday morning, last night, this morning. I know the election's over. I can tell you that much. And, I got to tell. First of all, I told my kids. My daughter was really concerned last night, the 23-year-old Matt.
Okay.
And so, me being a loving father that I am,
Uh-huh.
I told her, so Mad Mac would get a kick out of this. I said, hey, I called Mad Mac, who is the chairperson of the Trump Foundation.
Yes,
I said,
yes.
I put a word in for you, your mother, and your daughter that you 3 Mexicans aren't going to get deported.
You're in?
You're in.
In spite of the fact that you already are Americans, but...
Yeah, that was actually kind of funny, though. You got to give me that.
Heck yeah.
And then here's the other thing I said. And I for those people that think this is the end of the world, there was a lot of Republicans thought it was the end of the world in 2008 when Barack Obama
that's
won.
exactly
okay?
what...
And what happened? America continued to go forward. America will continue to go forward. And I will use the words that I told my daughter this morning. I said, get your backside up and go to work. And Doug Paris, who many people know Doug Paris, who cuts hair right down the street, told me when Obama won, he said, I've been cutting hair for over 40 years. I've cut hair for during the terms of 7 different presidents. I make more money under some, I make less money under others. The bottom line is when I go to work at the end of the day, I still made some money.
Absolutely.
So for all those people that think that the world, how about this? Go to work today, continue to go forward, and the world will move forward.
It'll all get sorted out. That's why we have
out.
three levels of government and all that fun stuff. So
one thing that is going to be a problem, Mr. Reardon, and you're very astute with these numbers, the school city of Gary is in some serious trouble as they voted against a referendum to throw additional money on top of the tax caps for the operations of their schools. Now, for my fine friends and customers
I don't know if you understood this or not. The state went completely Republican. And Gary is a Democratic stronghold. The thought process that you think you're going to go downstate to supermajorities and you're going to go get some money for the Gary School Corp after you voted against throwing additional money and other communities in this area voted for that? You tell me, Matt, as a consultant, how you sell that one.
I know that Mara has a bill that would be drafted that addresses that situation, not so much in Gary's favor, but generally speaking. When you help yourself, the state should help you. And that's
but
really
you just didn't help yourself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that will be the lesson learned is if you're going to help yourself, the state should help you. So she has a bill that she thought about before she ran. She shared it with some of the people she was running with and in the community with as a remedy or as a help to do such a thing. But Dave, you're right. If you're not willing to help yourself for whatever reason, it's pretty difficult to ask the state, specifically in Gary's instance when their per student cut of the state-funded school formula is probably one of the highest ones in the state. And it's the opposite spectrum of what you see in Munster, who's 361. Where does Gary fit in? So it's you know what, Dave? Guess what happens? People help people who help themselves.
Didn't the Lord say that? Isn't that in the good book?
Something like that.
Anyway, this is a paid program. Kuziak Construction, 923-3007, roofing, fascia, soffit, siding, windows, gutters. I'd be remiss if I did not say the coat drive is going on this weekend through the North Township. They are still looking for jackets. So if you want to go through your closets, you can drop them off at since it's Wednesday and the coat drive is actually Saturday. My suggestion is you drop it off at Wicker Park. Okay? Because that way they know they're going to get them. If you want to make a contribution, you can make that to the North Township. In the little area on your check, you can write Coat Drive. And that is a tax-deductible donation. The township is tax deductible. You're giving to a good cause. So that is happening this weekend. If you know someone that is in need of jackets, if you live in the township, they are giving away jackets at the pavilion this weekend from 9 o'clock to 11. And if there is a need, feel free to please go over there. We're right around I know it's beautiful for November, but we're right around the corner from Matt. I'm 48 and I've been here for 48 winters. I guarantee you that it's going to come and it's going to be very, very cold. So please do that. Also, Matt, your company?
MCR Partners. You can find us on the interweb at mcrpartnersltd.com. You can give me a call, 219-741-9511. We do economic development finance, lobbying, consulting, real estate, all those things that when you want to see people investing in your area, we do that.
All right, let's take a couple phone calls, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happened last night. And Raymundo Garcia is coming in to pick up all of his wares.
Man.
I want to give special thanks to Ray and his family, the family over at Taco Real. We grubbed up last night. I called it here yesterday morning that I was going to throw down. And
I was trying to think why I wasn't hungry, but when I got home last night, I remembered. I'm like, well, it might have been the 4 tacos you had.
If Ray's listening, which he is, I'm going to tell you, it's great food, but I'm just going to give you a little hint of advice. If you order the queso fundido, don't have 4, which I did last night. Have a couple and then eat something else.
You got to break it up.
You got to break it up a little bit. Absolutely. So
I put it on top of the delicious pork.
Yeah, so
it was good.
It was yes, it was very good. Thank you to Ray and El Taco Real. Don't remember, El Taco Real is at 935 Hoffman. That's in Hammond. You can call 932-8333. It's always a great I'll tell you what. Very few people know this. You'll get the best caldo de res on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
My mom and dad used to go there every single Tuesday, and it's the place to be. And here's the other
folk what that is.
It's basically soup.
It's beef soup.
It's beef soup made Mexican style.
Right.
And it is awesome. And especially as we start getting into the season when it starts getting warm. And here's another. I'll give you 2 other hits of advice. Go early because they run out because it's a special. And here's the other thing. When they ask you if it's a half order or a full order, don't fool yourself and say half order.
Yeah, just
take home what you can't finish.
And you'll be happy.
You'll be happy. Do the full order because I'll tear it up. Anyway, let's get a couple phone calls and then we'll get into some programming here. Good morning. You're live on WJOB. 12:30 a.m., 104.7 FM.
Good morning, guys. Dave from Highland.
Hey, Dave.
How you doing? Hey, congratulations to Mara Candelaria-Reardon, our new State Rep 12.
Thanks, Dave.
She did a heck of a job, and very proud of her. And Matt, the whole team, just very, very proud. And she seemed to come up above the fray. That was obviously one battle that everyone was really watching. The next was Jerry Shube and Tippy. That was another one. I think we knew just because of the gerrymandering and the redistricting that was going to be a long haul and an uphill battle for Mr. Shube. And hey, he's had a distinguished career, and his constituents in the old district really, they still love him. It was just, that's a lot to overcome. That being said, Republicans had a great night. Let's move forward. We just keep going on. The one race I'm very disappointed in is obviously the governor race. I really wanted Gregg in the governor's mansion, but that didn't happen. So we move forward. I was at Wicker Park till about 8 o'clock last night when there was only about 5 people left. The whole why we can't configure things, somebody will be able to figure that out. And the other question I was asked 100 times that I think, Dave, you might have touched on, when you have multiple precincts in one location, why is there 30 people in one line? Why is there 2 in another and nobody in the other line? And what could be done? I don't know. Maybe Michelle Thaman could call in. I'm sure she's listening as well, or someone can give her a message. Is it possible when you have multiple precincts, just like when I voted early, they knew who I was, they knew where I lived, they knew my district, they knew my precinct. Is there any way that could be done that when you have 5 machines in one room and there's nobody in line and others, any way to, I'm sure you guys were asked that question.
Sure, it could be done. First of
how
all,
can there be 30 people in one line and none in another, and why can't you transfer those people over to the other machine? And, hey, again, congratulations to Mara, to Mike Repay, to Marilee Fry, to Mike Brown. They all did a great job. And, hey, we just move forward as a county, as a town, as a nation, and have a little kumbaya moment, and we're always stronger united than divided. So let's just move forward.
All right.
Thank you guys for a tremendous job again last night. Really, really well done.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Matt, I brought this up when I came yesterday. I came in for a little bit, and I filled in for a half hour. I spoke of my daughter and I went to Elliott School, which had 3 different precincts, and the lines had a different amount. And yes, Dave asked the same question I asked. Why can't you have all 7 machines programmed for anyone in the 3 districts? Now, I'm sure that's just someone in IT putting that together. It would be very similar to just making machines ready for the entire county, correct? I do understand. Here would be the one thing that would be different in your wife's race. If, let's say, for instance, she's running in the precinct and 2 other precincts is a different person.
City or town.
Yeah, but that's not going to come into play in a lot of areas.
Listen, Dave, I think if I can use my cash card in Europe and the money machine can figure out how much money to take out of my bank account, I'm pretty sure we can get that figured out.
And I want to say to the Lake County Election Board, you're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
I made that abundantly clear yesterday. I'm not trying to kiss up. It was evident that we had 47+% of the vote because there was open voting, and they're starting to listen to the constituency saying we want more open early voting, and you're going to see this continue. So they're moving in the right direction, and I'm sure they're listening. Here would be the next thing you do. On Election Day, if you have 7 machines for 3 precincts, why aren't they all compatible for anyone? So you just say, come on in and get in one of the lines of the 7 machines.
It goes back to what you said yesterday. If you can make it more convenient for the voter, you're going to have more voters. So somebody out there listening today owes me a lunch, as the voter turnout in Lake County was 56%.
Who'd you vote? Who'd you bet?
Oh, I can't say.
Oh, it wasn't me.
Wasn't you this time.
I knew it was going to be up, going through seeing early voting for the last 3 weeks.
Early voting was 18%
I had called,
out of the gate.
I was calling friends saying I could not even pull into Munster Town Hall because it was packed for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, let's make it easier.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Let's make it easier. And now we know it works. Now let's continue to do
it
so.
works.
And people came out and voted. And isn't that what we want?
Yes. Participation.
So there's no other way. And Matt, I think what makes Mara's victory last night so overwhelming is that the Democrats just took a shellacking. And Mara won by 2,600 votes.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people in that area that she runs in that basically said, I'm going to vote for the Republican, but I'm going to split my ticket up and vote for the Democratic nominee in District 12. So Mara understands that she's in a district that's 50-50.
Yeah.
So when she goes down and works, she understands to get things done, you're going to have to work with both Democrat and Republicans. And let's hope that people understand that at this point. We have been so divided over the last 20 years. Let's hope that at this point we understand. Here's the one thing there's two things that I want to bring up. The one thing about Barack Obama, in the history of the Republic, no one has lost more seats during their presidency for their own party than Barack Obama.
Sure.
At the state level and at the federal level, both in the House and the Senate. And that is a legacy that he has to look at. And one of the things, his number one legislation that he wanted to get across was, at first, don't you remember when he was saying they don't want it called Obamacare, they wanted the Affordable Care Act? The last couple of years, everyone was calling it Obamacare. 2 weeks before the race, 2 or 3 weeks before this race, there were letters sent across the country that rates for health insurance is skyrocketing, maybe as much as 25%. Now, when I was talking earlier to Mayor McDermott, and here's to my friends that are in government, or even our friends that get health care through some type of government form, you don't really see that. Guess who does see that? The other 75% of the country that pays their own health care.
Well, no, hold on. That's true to a certain extent, but not all of that. If there's corporations, they have their own health plan. It's people that are small business people, and then the other people that went about walking the United States of America without health insurance that are upset about it. So when you see and you tell somebody, hey, you don't get to walk into an emergency room anymore, you need to have health care, and people didn't like that.
Why didn't you just put those people in Medicaid then? We already have a system
We
in
should
place.
have just done that.
We already have a system in place for people that can't afford health care. That was an enormous part of
Medicaid costs more money, and if you're going to do that, see what happened is he asked people to pay their own way. So since you brought up national politics, Mr. Trump, the president-elect, has a lot of work to do. He's got a wall to build. He has treaties to undo. He has health care to fix. He has deals with China, Russia, North Korea to get going on. So I'm excited for the first 100 days. I expect a lot of action. I'm presuming that with having the House and the Senate and the presidency, all of this should be no problem.
He's meeting the president tomorrow.
All of this should be no problem whatsoever.
Okay, so talking about national news, and again, I will talk about my own viewpoints, toot my own horn. I said right here 6 months ago when there was a rally against TTP or TPP or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
I said, how is your candidate who was for TTP, whose husband was for NAFTA, which decimated the steel belt, how can you then put that for? And guess what happened? The Democratic firewall to become president, every one of those states that got decimated because of NAFTA and TTP or whatever you want to call it, where you're sending jobs overseas, voted against Hillary Clinton.
Yes, they did. And further on to that point, I believe that you saw the availability of information play a very large role in the eventual winner. Now, I didn't like either candidate by a long stretch, but I will tell you that the director of the FBI basically single-handedly gave this to Trump.
I think that's overstating it.
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
We could disagree. I think that's reading. No, the fact that you had a candidate that was Secretary of State that had her own server, and wait a second, and then
that became an issue.
Well, who's the one who did that? So James
did.
Comey, so he just came out of nowhere and said, I'm going to persecute this person? Or did he say, I looked at all this evidence?
Okay, what happened after the fact? She was vindicated. The guy That bit of information.
So you think that
scales.
all these people that haven't voted forever came out because James Comey said that she was under investigation?
I believe enough of them did to allow Trump to win.
Okay.
I believe enough of them did.
Well,
and you know what? As we saw how close the margin was, Hillary won the popular vote. Trump won the Electoral College. Hey, for all you Trump fans that were whining and moaning as to why do we have this Electoral College, now you know why.
The Democrats are almost guaranteed to win the popular vote all the time.
That's not true.
Because you have California, New York, and
almost
Illinois.
guaranteed. Well, you know what? That
and which
wasn't
one of
always
those three
the case.
budgets would you like to live in?
What's
of those three states? Yes. Which one?
California would be nice.
Okay, so the ones that you continue to pay when Indiana is reaping the benefit of having a balanced budget. Okay.
It's statutorily required.
Okay. Is that a bad thing?
I don't say it was, but it's not.
Okay, so why doesn't Illinois do the same thing?
I don't know. You need to ask Rauner. Hey, get it on. Get it fixed.
I mean, who in our regular life we like to live within our means. So how do you have a state next door that's $20
I don't know. They need to fix it.
Debt?
Hey, you know what? There's plenty of Republicans that represent that state on a national level. And they need to weigh in on why Illinois is the way it is, and that needs to be pushed up the ladder to say, wait a minute, guys, we're going to have a problem still helping here if you can't help yourself. My
viewpoint of one of the major things that people don't talk about is there was the last census report that just came out. Over the people right now, their income is at the same level of 17 years ago. And look how many taxes we've had in 17 years. Much like what's going on right now. So
less disposable income.
But of course, and at a certain point you go like this. What the American people did. I'm not paying $1,200 a month for health care.
No, I don't want to. And I'm not paying for it because I didn't have to before. And if I want to be sick, I can be sick. Except this, Dave. When they get sick, they show up at an emergency room. Which drives up the cost of health care.
When your number one legislation during your tenure, when you make a bunch of statements, you can keep your doctor, that wasn't true. A bunch of statements didn't hold true, regardless of why they didn't hold true, you can't then go out there and run on it. And Evan Bayh was one of the number one reasons why he got beat. He voted for that legislation.
It is, it's awesome. So now you don't have to pay anymore.
No one is saying that, Matt. That's taking out
I'm
of context.
going to repeal Obamacare, which means this. You don't have to pay anymore. Continue to go to the emergency room. And you know what? If you're some kind of one hospital, another, I'd say, you know what? If you don't have any money, get out.
Why is auto insurance any different than health insurance?
I don't know why.
Why can't you just go?
Because it's not mandated. No.
It's mandated to drive it.
You said it. Right.
It's mandated to
drive. You got
it.
You said it. Obama tried to do it. He tried to mandate it, and people went, I don't want to pay for it.
But he didn't give the same amount of options. If you sit and listen to the TV for 1 hour, you have Progressive, you have Nationwide, you have Liberty Mutual, you have Allstate, you have State Farm. So why don't we do this? Why
don't you have competition? That's what I'm saying. Why didn't we have competition? Why didn't the healthcare providers, why didn't the insurance companies, why wasn't there competition? You don't think so? I know why.
Why?
Because they wanted to control the market. Because every time there's competition, it drives down pricing, and they didn't have to. So it was easier for the insurance companies and all the attorneys affiliated with them to buck up and try and get Obamacare undone than to have to compete in an open marketplace.
You compete in an open marketplace every day just like I do.
Yes.
Okay, and people, one of the first things they tell me is you're one of 5 that's out here today. Do you think that determines what my price is?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, why don't we do that on the largest scale then? Because if I was Donald Trump,
they didn't want to let it happen, Dave.
Well, then maybe it's going to happen now.
Well, I'd like to see that, Dave, but what I don't want to see is that people get to walk around and not have health insurance anymore, because those are the people that voted for Trump. That was the intimation that I'm going to repeal Obamacare. You don't have to pay for health care anymore. You get a free ride.
Matt, the biggest thing, I can guarantee you that people that don't have insurance were not the number one group that voted for Trump. The number one group that voted for Trump.
I don't believe that for a minute.
The number one group that voted for Trump was the working class whites in this country, which make between 40 and 110,000 collectively between themselves and their wives. So they were asked to pick up the the tab,
and they don't want to pay for it.
Well, no,
they don't want to pay anymore.
Stuff.
Other people's stuff. It said pay for you.
I am
one way
you
or another.
Somebody
pays for when you walk into a hospital room, and I'm saying the intimation was you're not going to have to pay anymore, so you get to have a free ride because I'm going to get it sorted out. So my question to President-elect Trump is, I want to see what you're going to do in 100 days that solves the ill of all these people paying for health care that was put in place. That's a very Republican idea. Replaced with what? Or nothing.
I'm wanting to see it replaced immediately, and I want to be a part of being. I want to be able to call. I want to be able to call 5 places and take my family's. I want to be able to go out there and say, I am a customer, just like I am. I have 4 drivers in our household. I have to go out there, and believe me, every single 12 months, I look at it and do it.
I understand. I do the same thing, but what I'm saying is this. If you, as a roofing company, had enough money to quash any other competitors getting into the marketplace or being involved in it, you would do it. So let's go look at the healthcare model. Let's look at exactly how bad that was, the reason for the Universal Health Care Act or Obamacare, and why it was put in place. And what happened is those guys wanted it to fail. It didn't make them more money. It made them have to be competitive, and they didn't like it. So what I want to see out of President-elect Trump is fix it, because you said you were going to.
I agree. I'm in
so
favor.
So get on it. So you
too.
Figure out what's going to happen when all those people that were supposed to pay for health care don't have to pay anymore.
Matt, the reason that Hillary Clinton was resoundingly beaten, you look at one thing every year, right track, wrong track. And this did not sway. The lowest that it got was 65%. The highest it got was 75%. Country going on the wrong track. When you are running as a third term, and you have a number of 75%, the people in this country said the country was going in the wrong direction. They voted overwhelmingly throughout this country to show that. And there was only a few small pockets in this country where the Democrats were able to keep or gain seats, your wife being one of them. And next door, Tammy Duckworth. But if you look at what they thought they were going to get, Ron Johnson whooped Feingold by over 100,000 votes. Toomey ends up winning.
Right.
It looks like Kelly Ayotte, it's a really tight race, may keep that. They didn't gain anything.
They didn't gain what they thought. But what I'm saying is, okay, great. So anyway, so what I want to know is what you're going to replace it with. Now you don't have to pay. So you're back to a politician saying, I'm giving away free stuff. Okay, good luck.
I don't think it's just going to be you don't have to pay. I think that's going to be a part of the entire thing. I'm in favor of people paying their own
you know what? That's not what I said, and that's not what I heard from Trump. You don't have to pay. This Obamacare ruined the country. Fix it. I want to see it. Now, you won. Now, I want to see you put your money where your mouth is.
Well, it's your party that said that at the national level. They said they wanted to repeal it 50 times. They must have it. They must have something sitting
So
in
they need it. Well, you know what? They don't have anything, or they would have brought it forward. So now this is what I want to see. You have a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate. I expect within 100 days to have Obamacare repealed and something in its place, or nothing in its place, because that's what you said was going to happen.
Be interesting.
So all of you people that were told you don't have to buy health insurance anymore, there's good news. You're not going to have to do it. And then when you get sick, you better hope the hospital you go to decides to let you in the front door.
Hey, there you go. 845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's going on?
Mad Max. What's up?
Hey, man, I'll give you $1,000 if you can find anything in print, audio, or video where Donald Trump says you don't have to pay, or even intimated anything like that. You sound like the most bitter loser with this stuff, dude. He never said anything like that.
And he's a Republican.
Come on,
and he's
Mad
a
Max,
Republican.
don't even tell me. It would take me 10 minutes to find something where that big mouth said you don't have to pay. We're repealing Obamacare, and you shouldn't have to pay.
Anything like that. He simply said that, first of all, Obamacare, you know what Obamacare is. Obamacare is simply a government takeover in an attempt to control the entire medical industry, to funnel money into lobbyists and all his buddies' pockets. That's all that.
Well, there was a lot of different kinds of buddies, man.
There was a lot of people who made money.
So listen, no, I agree.
He put 12 million people on Obamacare.
He
Virtually all of them are almost 100% subsidized, and their deductible is $7,000. Why would they bother? That's why they don't even pay it. That's why 24 exchanges are going to end by the end of this year, because it is a fiscal house of cards.
So, well, I understand. I'm not bitter about anything. I'm telling you that's what the intimation, and that's what he said. Well, Obamacare's the worst.
I'm telling you, just like I told people this morning.
I'll find it, and I'll text. Hey, I'll find it, and I'll text it to you. The guy said this has to go away.
And nose on your face.
No, all I said, he's got 100 days. He ran his mouth. I want to see some action. He's got the House, the Senate, and the presidency. There is no reason.
I love it. I love the fact.
Get some action going, guys. Let's get something done. Because the last two presidents that had that, Obama and Bush, weren't able to do anything, having control of all of it. I want to see it. I want to see what his plan is. And today's the day that he's going to get his plans together and his people, and they're going to be terrific. He better get on it.
There is a transition team in place.
Good.
Awesome. I'm rooting for you. I'm tired of nothing happening.
I am too.
I want to see action. And whether you win, lose, or draw with it, you come with your plan, and we'll see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it because what he told me his plan was should make America great again.
No, what you put into your head and scrambled around and came out. He never said he's going to give everybody free health care. He never.
Oh no, I didn't say
anywhere at all.
I didn't say that he was going to give people free health care. What he said is you don't have to pay for it anymore if you don't want to.
Okay, we've spent enough time on Obamacare. We've spent enough time.
If you don't want to pay anymore, you don't have to pay.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I don't understand. You have to pay to drive.
I agree. I don't understand why it's so hard.
I don't understand what's so different about it. It's the same thing. And here's the other thing. This is why they can't sell it to people. When you get your driver's rate is based on your driving experience and record. So if you have a bunch of tickets, like me, and you have 6 seatbelt tickets against you, like me, I'm going to pay more. Yeah. Okay?
Dave, don't confess everything on the air here.
No, he held back.
No, I don't have anything else other than that. So anyway, the bottom line is you pay for your record, and in health, we don't want to do that. Because
are we on the air here?
Yes, Are we off?
I don't know. Are we on the air?
Are we down?
Should be on the air. I hope you're on the air.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me, Ryan?
You're on the air for sure. I guarantee.
Okay. All right. Good. So anyway, that's enough that I want to talk about that national thing. The bottom line is this: it was a mandate last night. If you look at the map, it was a complete annihilation.
Well, I don't know if it was Dave.
Look at the map.
Mandate is a very strong word. The lady won. So listen, it wasn't a mandate by any means.
Lady won. Your wife
No. What I'm saying, the lady won the state she was supposed to. It wasn't a mandate. I don't care what it was. It's 51.1. Now the guy has control of the House and the Senate. I expect big things.
So do I.
I heard big things. I expect big things. Well, hey, don't go in the tank for the guy now. Now the guy's got a chance to shine.
Push forward.
Push forward, guy. I heard a lot of good stuff. We're going to build walls. We're going to fix health care. We're going to do some trade deals. We're going to get mix and match, and I expect to see it because he's got control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
And yet at the same time, when Obama tried to take over the entire healthcare industry, that was
we got to move on. That's enough Obamacare.
The lawyer lobbyists they're pretty powerful too.
Yeah. Well, why do you think all those people ran and had $100 million? It wasn't because people you give people $100,000 because you just like them.
Yeah, you're a good egg. I got
there
some fossils for you.
Give us a call 845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Hi. Why don't you guys give the political analysis of rest and say to the president-elect, congratulations and good luck, just like you were taught when you were young.
We already said that.
We already did that.
I wish the best for the United States of America, and I hope that it goes forward. I hope that we can work together. As I said last night when we closed the show, we have many problems in this country, and it's time that we start addressing them as a nation. And Donald Trump can do a couple things. If you listen to what he said last night, I think he took a step forward in saying that he wants to unite this country.
Yes.
He could have taken the other step. He could have said, I'm moving forward with investigations on Hillary, yada, yada, yada. And he may, because in my estimation, she's a crook, and she should be treated no differently than you or I if we broke the law.
Well, she's going to get pardoned.
I would be willing to bet that the Clintons are going to be able to enjoy their 250. Here's a question that I have for people that voted for Hillary Clinton and why I think our country system is broke. How do you make $250 million when you are an elected official? You don't make payroll, you don't create anything, and you're living off other people. How do you make $250 million?
Corrupt. People accept it.
You're exactly right. People accept it. And that's why people came out last night. And they overwhelmingly voted against a horrendous candidate who, listen, if you look at the two people that could have won, Bernie Sanders could have beaten Donald Trump. Yeah. Every poll said that.
He would have beaten him.
But the Democratic Party set it up for Hillary. The other thing that happened is that Joe Biden's son died of cancer, unfortunately. I think Joe Biden, who talks to the middle-class, white, Caucasian people in this world, would have won last night. So the Democratic Party, through their manipulation, picked the third candidate, and they ended up getting trounced. So goodbye to the Clintons. Go enjoy your $250 million that you made, and please just go like other people, like George Bush. Do you see George Bush say anything? Just go on your ranch and go do what you do.
Yeah, go.
You had your time.
Yeah,
you already ate off the trough. You've been eating off the trough for 30 years.
Yeah, so move on. Let's
move
see.
on.
Like I said, like we said earlier, Trump, he's got work to do. I wish the guy well. I heard a lot of good things in there. I hope he gets to it.
I do too. And congratulations.
Well, these elections are like Tony Zale and Rocky Graziano. Good luck to her.
Hey,
thanks, man.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
And I think that there's a major opportunity for your wife to go down and talk to
She's actually, Mara's trying to call in.
There's major opportunity for your wife to go down to the state legislature and say, let's get a look at what's going on with the school funding formula. And let's take a look at how we're hurting some of these areas. Okay?
It's not just
Munster.
It's a lot of the rural school areas that run into the same thing.
Look at these lights, Matt. You got to take a picture of that because that's what happens on Kuziak and Reard.
Yeah.
Let's keep going through them. 845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Do you really think the Republican Party is going to back the agenda that Trump ran on? Really? Who do you think owns all these factories that were shipped overseas? The Republicans. They're not going to bringing those factories back.
Neither is he. Or Trump isn't either. It's going to become it's too hard. It's international. All those truisms that people that understand the money system and international trade, all this is going to come to roost, and it's going to be like, well, it wasn't so. It's not so easy to tell everybody. Move your
It's a lot of globalization, but here's the other thing: is if it comes back, caller, it's not coming back to the north.
No,
I'll guarantee.
No.
I mean, because it's already happening downstate.
It's going to where the cheapest labor is.
It's if you go down south, and you go to places like Nashville, and you go further south than that, there are hubs in this country that there are more jobs than people are willing to work.
Yeah, you have cheap labor, and
it's cheaper. It's cheaper.
Cheap labor.
Okay,
when you pay $20 in the north and $14 in the south, that's cheap labor for the United States.
Okay, but I thought everyone was capitalist in this country.
I agree.
So everyone's capitalist when they want to be in the free market system, correct?
Yeah.
So here you have corporations that come in and say, I'm going to open up a place wherever I choose to open it up because isn't this America?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'm just telling you right now, and it's very tough. That's why I think decisions that are being made here right now, we're at a crossroads in Northwest Indiana. What we do. Because we are shedding people year after year.
Dave, not just Northwest Indiana. Indiana is 37th in per capita income. 37. We might as well be in the South.
Some people say we are. Hey, thanks for the call. 845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Hi, this is Mara Reardon. How are you?
Hey, congratulations, Mara.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to call in and thank all the people who worked so hard to support support me and put their trust in me. I really, don't take that lightly.
I think that you were one of very few throughout this country that actually took back a Republican seat. There were a few others. It appears next door in Illinois, Tammy Duckworth has been successful, and at this point, I don't know if they've called it, but it appeared that Congressman Schneider has defeated Congressman Dold. But there's not a lot throughout the area where you can say, and then resoundingly by 2,600 votes. So obviously, when you have a vote tally like that in an area that is almost 50-50 or 55-45 Republicans,
48% Democrat.
48, so 52-48 to win by 2,600 obviously speaks that a message was being sent to the incumbent, and also speaks to the candidacy and campaign that you put together. It was obviously very successful. So congratulations on that. And
Thank you. We worked really hard, and we engaged more people. We made over 12,000 voter contacts in 6 months. We outworked them. They outspent us, and we outworked them.
One of the biggest things as a Munster resident, and I'm sure this is something that you heard when you were up and down the streets, that what are we going to do about the school funding formula?
Well, I think it's a little bit a bigger issue than just the school funding formula. You've created 3 systems of public education in this state and used the existing funding structure to do it. You've increased charters and you've increased vouchers to the detriment of public schools. I think the first thing that we have to do truly is to make charter schools and voucher schools accountable the same way that public schools are. They get loan forgiveness when they go under. They're not proven to be better schools, yet we continue to funnel money into them. We need to make them accountable.
Hey, Mara, with a clean sweep by the Republicans at the state level, obviously the Republican Party had been the one that was pushing charter schools and voucher systems, and it's increased under their tenure. And then you couple that with the vote yesterday that was taken, a very close vote, but it appears that the citizens of Gary have decided that they do not want to throw any additional money on top of their tax caps to help themselves out in their public schools. How do you go downstate and tell people, hey, we need to take a look at the Gary school systems or any other school systems in Lake County? It's got to be a conundrum.
Well, I think what you're seeing, though, is you're seeing that with this current funding formula and this current the priorities that the Republican caucus to date has had, you're seeing them impacting Republican areas like Munster. You're seeing them impacting rural school districts that are traditionally Republican. So you're going to see the pushback from these legislators that see their schools being affected by these decisions.
Well, again, we appreciate anything else you want to say. I know that I got to tell you, as I looked this morning, Matt, obviously, he's been on these airwaves many more times when you were successful. Obviously, it was tough 2 years ago as numbers were coming in, and it was apparent that it was not going to be a good night. Last night, we're looking at these numbers, and I looked at Matt. I said, after the first 2 communities, I said, Matt, I want to call this. And Matt's saying, well, I don't think we should yet. I said, Matt, there's not enough. I go, first of all, there's not been a community that your wife has lost. I mean, looking at the final numbers, did you basically sweep every community that you were in?
You know what? I haven't been able to see the final numbers. I know that in Munster, the last number I saw in Munster, we were down by like 142 votes, which is, a huge increase from last time. So I'm not really sure. I haven't seen the final, the final actual, individual sets of numbers from the towns. But I can tell you, Dave, that, when we show up at the polls, it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
The higher voter turnout.
People have to be engaged.
Yeah,
People
absolutely.
have to be engaged. And, Indiana did not like, apparently, to have that dubious distinction that they had last time as the lowest voter turnout in the nation. And so people did step up and show up. And, that's all we can hope for is participation in our democracy. So
what are...
I just want to say thank you, to everybody, and particularly, Matt Reardon. You really worked hard and supported me and always have. And I know that this position and this job is certainly no get-rich-quick scheme, and it comes at a cost to, our personal lives oftentimes. And, I appreciate you standing by me. I love you.
Get to work.
Wow, yeah. Did you hear what your husband said? Get to work.
Get on down there.
Yeah.
Don't you have issues?
Yeah.
I read a lot of campaign stuff. I'm going to treat you like
Yeah,
Trump.
Trump.
Didn't you just say you had a lot of stuff to do? You should be working on it. All right. Love you, honey. Take
First
care.
and foremost, thanking my supporters.
Good idea.
Hey, Mara,
Get to
congratulations
work.
again. And as you all know, that if you think that our wives listen to anything that we have to say, you've obviously not been married to a Hispanic woman before, because that's not happening. Let's continue to get through these lines as it's 8:56. Good morning. You're live on WJOB. That was Mara Candelaria Reardon talking to her constituency after a victory last night in the 12th district. You're listening to WJOB 1230 AM. I'm Dave Kuziak. He's Matt Reardon. 1230 AM, 104.7 FM. This is where all the things are happening. We're recapping what happened last night. Good morning. What say you?
You guys think Donald Trump is a problem solver? You're delusional. That man is a corporate totalitarian. Watch what happens with Dodd-Frank, Wall Street. The wolves are loose again. I fear for Wall Street. I mean, apparently 8 years of everybody forgets about what happened when the Republicans were in control of Wall Street and all this. I mean, they're gonna roll back so many regulations. It's going to be it's fearful.
But George, all the money from Wall Street was going to the Democratic side.
No, it wasn't.
Are you kidding me? They were paying Hillary Clinton $250,000 to talk.
Yeah.
I mean, you can believe whatever you want to believe, but this is. I mean, Wall Street was with Clinton.
No, they weren't.
Okay, so they just paid her. So they just paid her.
It's $250,000. That is couch cushion money in relation to what goes on there. I understand what you're saying, George, and I got to give the guy a chance. That's all I'm going to say.
He's not a problem solver. He's an agitator.
Well,
That's all he is.
and I'm hoping
fact-free universe.
I understand. I agree with you 100%. But I also believe that we have the best system of governance in the world, and I believe that is what and why our founding fathers came up with this with the 3-tiered system. For this specific reason. So while we
separation of powers,
we will not have totalitarian nonsense, and the people of the United States, frankly, won't stand for it.
No, I mean
I think
the reason that you
corporate totalitarianism, not necessarily a government. Trump is an authoritarian in that regard, I believe.
So you don't think
totalitarianism.
that corporations set the rules for Obamacare? You don't think that big pharma and the insurance companies that have made a mint under this thing?
They're going to be strengthened even more. Obamacare was, I don't know what all the problems were. I just know that it was kind of became a contradiction. It wasn't affordable.
I agree. And see, that's
the Not Affordable Care Act. Right.
And that hurts when that's your number one.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't ask Evan Bayh anything else that hurt him worse.
Well, Evan Bayh, what hurt him was checking out the way he did the last time he was a senator.
And then going and making $10 million as a lobbyist? And then becoming a multimillionaire?
What else do
work for Coates
do?
Yeah.
Go back and practice law? I don't think
it worked for Dan Coates very well.
Just nicely for Dan Coates. So you know what? I'm cautiously optimistic as I am when any new president comes in. I believe that we have a separation of powers for a purpose.
Hey, George, thanks a lot. We've got a couple.
And George, I love your website. George has this. It's like a super brainy website. I don't know how I got on it, but like heavy duty George issues.
Let's try to get through these last ones where the football guys are ready to make their predictions afterwards. We've got a couple minutes left. It's 9 o'clock on the dot. Got 3.5 minutes before we sign off. Good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Hey, Uncle Joe. How's it going?
Pretty good. I worked the polls yesterday. I was really inspired by the sitting I was in. There's a total of 1,030 registered, and we had 661.
That's awesome.
A strong showing. And
nice.
The other thing I just want to point out, the top vote getter in Porter County was Judge Gent. She's respected by all parties, and she had 51,000 votes more than anybody. And the last thing I got is the first 100 days are going to determine the direction Trump is going. When you have a prejudice before he ever even opens his mouth, wait for the first 100 days. You'll know where our direction we're going in.
I'm in favor. I want to be optimistic. Let's turn this country in the right direction.
I say the same thing. Whoever gets to be the president, okay. You told me you were going to do all this
Thanks
stuff.
a lot, Uncle Joe.
So get to doing it.
Yep.
The same. Let's turn back the clock a little bit and talk about when Obama won, when people thought it was the end of the world. Hey, guess what? It's not the end of the world. It didn't happen. And Bush won again. What? It's not the end of the world. So I have expectations. They were set. I want to see if they can be met.
Guess what you and I are going to do after this?
Go to work.
I would have done that whoever won. Last call of the day. You're on.
Morning.
You're on.
2 quick points. You talked about the jobs, possibly coming back to the country, and they'll be way down in the South. The very quick story, I went to a concert over the summer just north of Indianapolis, the old Deer Creek.
Yep.
Why in God's name are they building like they are down there? I had to call Jim. I always hear everybody bitch up here about all the money going in and around Indianapolis. They're building roads. They're made of gold. Well, they're building roads and making things nice down there because there is development down there.
He's going down south.
It's not that things aren't happening, guys. People just don't want to have a damn thing to do really with Lake County. There's very little to do with it as possible. And I have to tell you, Mara did an excellent job of really not answering the question when you asked her, how do you go downstate and say we need to correct this funding thing when the people of Gary vote down funding their schools more?
All right. Hey, we'll leave it on that.
She did an excellent job of not answering that question.
Hey, you know what? Here's what we talked about. So now that you're listening, I'll just let you know. It's the same principle. If you're willing to help yourselves as a community, then the state should be able to help you. And as Mara gets down there, sits down and puts forth this piece of legislation, caller, you'll be able to see. So the watchword will be this, just like I believe it should be. And it's pretty simple. It's a pretty fundamental thing.
What if we
if
match
you want to
it?
help yourself,
we'll match you.
You're talking.
We'll match you dollar for dollar.
Bingo. Now Dave Kuziak, see the cat's out of the bag. That's exactly what Mara's talking about in her proposal to the Indiana General Assembly to say, you rate just like the wheel tax. You want money from me, you got to raise your own money, and that will solve the problem. So when Mara was out campaigning, those were some of the things she's talking about. That is a realistic and plausible thing. That is something that transcends politics. And you know what? If you're sitting there, and I don't care what party you are, and you decide, well, you know what? I don't want to vote for something that a Democrat or a Republican came up with because that person would get credit for it. That's really probably not the purpose you got elected. It's a fundamentally good idea. Hey, you know what? Let's help people that want to help themselves.
On that note, we're out of here. The boys are going to be picking all their games this weekend and picking their nose.
I want to know who picked
else.
the Colts.